What's up, everyone? Fantasy Endgame here again, as we are pretty much every day going live. Break down what has gone on in the past week for football, what's going to go on. Look, it's waiver wire night for a lot of you. Got to get those bids in, know how much FAAB, but more importantly, who to spend on. Some of you might be another day or two, but either way, make the right pickups. I mean, if you did that before week one, you're pretty happy with guys like, I don't know, Puka, maybe. So we're here to steer you the right way and also answer your trade questions. Getting a lot of those. The activity is definitely picking up already. But first, let's talk Monday Night Fallout. I mean, some people saying that maybe now Monday Night Football is cursed, like the Madden curse. It's the Monday Night Football curse. We got Aaron Rodgers. Now we have Nick Chubb. So let's talk Chubb. I mean, it was really hard to watch. And for me, I'm not like, faint of heart thing. I don't mind that stuff. But yeah, it was like that was hard to watch. I mean, I feel bad for J.K. Dobbins. I really feel bad for Nick Chubb now because that guy's also had some serious injuries. So I mean, you and I personally didn't invest a lot in Chubb just because of value at ADP. It had nothing to do with injuries or whatever. But going forward, can anybody come close to replacing that value, no matter who it is going forward?
No, it's going to be very hard. Like this is the thing. You have Nick Chubb, and you use a first-round pick or maybe a second-round pick on him. Unless you can pull off a trade or something, you're not going to get a running back of Nick Chubb's caliber off the waiver wire. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you keep fighting, try to make some trades, work the waiver wire. Hopefully the rest of your team is strong enough to overcome it. So, yeah, you're not going to replace Nick Chubb on the waiver wire.
So the big question, we're going to get, I predict, a lot of Jerome Ford questions, and rightfully so, because he's next man up until they sign somebody. I mean, well, let's get to that in a second. Let's first talk Jerome Ford. He looked pretty good last night. And look, we talked about Jerome Ford. I don't know if a lot of people even mentioned his name, but go back, look at the offseason, talk about some of the late round potential league winners, those sleepers. Jerome Ford's a guy we mentioned more than once. Yep. For this very reason. You can't predict injuries, but you should prepare for them. So can Jerome Ford be the guy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't look, maybe I'm going to be wrong, but this to me is like those once a year opportunities. And look, I don't want to call it an opportunity because Nick Chubb is a human being, had a serious injury, may affect his career. So I don't want to you don't want to dehumanize these guys just because you play fantasy.
Right.
But if you just look at it from fantasy football, this is one of those opportunities that only come around maybe once a year where we have a legit RB1 in one of the best run offenses behind one of the best offensive lines who has a clear handcuff. And that handcuff is now the starting running back. Like, people getting worried about Kareem Hunt, Cam Akers, Leonard Fournette. Like, I've seen this before where there's some handcuff that everybody is like, this guy, if player A gets hurt, player B is the guy you're going to want. And then when it happens and the team is like, well, we're going to go try to get this dusty running back that hasn't been on a team since last year. Everybody goes, well, there goes player B. There, you can't have him. And then player B ends up still being awesome because guess what? There's a reason why these running backs aren't on teams right now. It's not because they're so good. Teams are like, just sit on the sidelines until we need you. It's like, no, they're not good. That's why they're not on an NFL team right now. So, yeah, to me, Jerome Ford, I'm all in on Jerome Ford. This is the chances of a running back coming up on the waiver wire this year like Jerome Ford is very small. You can sit there and do all the but this, but that. But the reality is we're probably not going to get this opportunity again this year, so you might as well go for it.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. And a couple of points here is, first of all, it's not like, wow, Barkley's out. Who's next up there? David Montgomery's out. No, Chubb is out for this season. Like, no
Yes.
doubt. There's no question there. The rest of the season, and it's week 3 coming up. So
Yeah.
you're getting basically a full season of whoever it is there, right? The Browns, number 2, are a good rushing offense. And it's not just, yes, Nick Chubb, a great runner, right? That's credit to him. But they also have a good offensive line and a system that will run the ball. So it's a good situation.
Yep.
And then the funny thing is, everyone's like, well, Kareem Hunt coming back to the Browns, it's perfect. Yeah, it's a perfect fit. He wasn't kept by the Browns for a reason. They specifically chose not to keep him around there. And now, like, okay, well, we need somebody. Is it because they're thrilled to put him out there? And it's like, all right, you're the guy, you're the RB1 now, when Jerome Ford basically surpassed him. And then finally, we already said, Jerome Ford, a lot of people won't even know who he is or just not be that familiar. Like, oh, yeah, he went to Cincinnati in college or whatever. I've heard of him. I liked Jerome Ford a lot last year, and I was kind of disappointed he didn't even get any opportunities. And we talked about him, like I said, already through the preseason. So not surprised to see him. I mean, I guess I'm surprised to see he did that well last night, but I think he can handle this job just fine. And then he proved it. So, yeah. If I had Chubb and I need a running back because my bench is just not that great, or I also had, Saquon Barkley, J.K. Dobbins, whoever, I'm putting 90% of my FAAB to get Jerome Ford because I need him, but also, because I need him. If I don't have Nick Chubb, I'm still putting up maybe 50% to try to prevent someone else from getting him. I mean, don't you think it's worth it?
Oh, absolutely. I would be okay doing all your FAAB. I mean, again, like, think about how often. Okay, look at last year. Name me the players that were waiver wire pickups that were awesome, like, all year long.
I mean, the one that comes to mind is Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker, similar situation. Now, granted, Kenneth Walker had more, was a higher pick, a better prospect, but I think I agree with you. Jerome Ford, like, he was good in college. He ran a 4.440, over 6 yards per carry in college, 1,600 yards. He can catch passes. He's running behind one of the best run blocking offensive lines in football, a team that's going to run the ball. And like you said, if they liked Kareem Hunt so much, you know where Kareem Hunt would be right now? Still with the Browns. It's not like they didn't have a choice. They had this choice, and they clearly chose Jerome Ford. Like, they said, we are fine with only having Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford as our running backs this year. We're totally okay with that. Now, they might bring in Kareem Hunt because you can't just have Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong be your running backs all year. Like, you need some depth, especially because Pierre Strong is a special teamer. So,
right.
But Jerome Ford's a guy here. It's a great situation. You just don't get these chances in fantasy very often. And look, think back to last year. You could have done all the buts with Kenneth Walker, but he's a rookie. But Pete Carroll loves his committees. But there's this guy, there's that guy. They might go get this guy. How'd that work out? Or would you rather have just dropped all your FAAB and got Kenneth Walker last year off the waiver wire? FAAB doesn't score fantasy points. I don't know any league where you get points for your FAAB.
That's well said, right? Like, you don't get bonus points for each dollar you saved.
Yeah.
Going into the playoffs. So, yeah, if it's worth it, you spend up. I agree. All right, we do have we have a lot of questions lined up already. We're here to help. That's what we're here for. So you got waiver wire questions, your FAAB questions, you got trade questions, which I know we have a lot of too. Any questions? We'll even do start sit. It's early, but why not? So if you've been with us before, you already know. If you do use the super chat feature, we will answer your question. No doubt. We'll be on until we get to all of them. It doesn't mean we won't answer it. If you don't super chat, it's just not guaranteed because as much as we would love to answer every single one, it's just not realistic. So we're going to try to prioritize. But let's start with one of our members, Jason Quinones. Got a YouTube membership there. Lost Chubb is a good place to start. Who should I target in a trade? Let's see. 7 positions. Got QB, RB, wide receiver, 3 flex. Interesting, 3 flex. He's got Watson, Cup, Evans, Aaron Jones, James Conner, Andrews, Thomas, Puka, McLaurin.
I mean, And the first thing I would say is if Jerome Ford is on the waiver wire, just and you're in a FAAB league, just drop it all and try to get Ford. The problem is you have Puka. I mean, it's not a problem, but I mean, I'm guessing you spent a decent amount of your FAAB, if it is FAAB, on Puka last week.
All right. He clarified earlier. He didn't mean Jones. He meant to say Ford. So Ford is not available.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
I mean, Evans looks like the guy to me that I want. Like, my gut says trade Puka, but I know that that if I say that, the pitchforks are coming. They're coming because Puka is now the Rams' wide receiver 1, and Cooper Kupp is going to retire in like 2 weeks. He's going to retire, and we're never going to see Cooper Kupp again because that's how it works. But right now, you could probably get you might be able to get Derrick Henry for Puka right now. And there's probably people who just dropped the chat. There's no way I would trade Puka for Derrick Henry. There's probably people who just chatted that. I'm not looking, but I'm guessing there probably are. Like, that's how high people are on Puka right now. They really think Puka is going to just keep doing this for 17 games, even when Cooper Kupp comes back. So, and look, I'm not saying I think Puka is going to be a bust or anything, but I just think Puka has insane value right now. Like, you can get a true RB1 for Puka right now, probably. So, that would be my first choice. My second choice would probably be Mike Evans. You might not be able to get a true RB1, but I'll bet you could get an Etienne or a Stevenson type for Evans right now.
Yeah, and sorry, I don't think this really matters in this case, but he finished his quote. He also has Dobbs, Gallup, Juju. I think we can ignore those guys.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to trade those guys.
A bag of chips for Juju. What's interesting about what you said is because he has Kupp. And so you almost want to, go all in on that, pick a side, I guess. It's okay, if Kupp comes back, you're betting on Kupp still being Cooper Kupp, and that Puka won't be Cooper Kupp. And so you might as well trade Puka and then hope that you reap the benefits week 5 or whenever he comes back. So I think that makes the most sense. Look, if Kupp never comes back, I don't expect that, but I guess it's just a bad bet. But it's just a hamstring. I mean, it's a serious one, but it's not something he can't recover from. So I think that makes the most sense, what you said. Then we also have Mary Jo, who's also got the little membership logo there. I need a defense in an 8-team league. Currently has Baltimore. It's funny. I just picked up Baltimore in a league because of their matchup. Chiefs, Patriots, or Jags, considering the matchup. I'm never going to pick up the Chiefs defense. You like the Patriots against the Jets? I mean,
you got to like Patriots against Jets. Baltimore versus Colts.
Baltimore gets the Colts, which could be Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, which doesn't scare me.
In Baltimore.
Yeah, I think Baltimore or the Patriots are great this week. So if you just want to stick with Baltimore, I think that's okay. They should both be really good this week.
Yeah, like I said, I like Baltimore this week, of course, but if the Patriots are available, I would have picked them up against Zach Wilson. Yeah, I'm going Pats, and my second choice would be Baltimore. So I think you can do that because the Pats are a pretty solid defense. You can roll with them pretty much all year, I think. Kyle, should I drop Njoku for Laporta, Musgrave, or Ertz? Now, this is interesting. Without Chubb, does this team pass more? Do those guys start to see more targets? Honestly, I'm starting to have a little bit of doubt with Deshaun Watson because Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, or post scandal Deshaun Watson, whatever you want to say, it just doesn't look the same.
No, I'm getting ready to take the L on Deshaun Watson, no doubt about it. He looks terrible. Njoku wasn't bad last night other than that fumble, but yeah, he looks terrible. I think I might go Laporta over Njoku right now. At least Laporta's getting involved and has a decent weekly floor. Ertz, maybe when Kyler comes back, Ertz will get that bump and I'll like him a bit more. But right now I'm not going Ertz with Josh Dobbs. So yeah, I think I might go Laporta over Njoku for the moment.
Yeah, Musgrave, we already says becoming a little less interesting. Actually, I think we said that on a video that hasn't come out yet. But anyways,
yeah.
Musgrave, there's so many good receivers there now that are viable. Ertz is getting targets, not getting great quality targets, but he's getting targets. But so is Laporta. I think for right now, it's Laporta. I think long term, maybe Ertz if Kyler ever does come back. So, and Njoku is droppable now. I think the first 2 weeks were like, no, hold tight, hold tight. He is droppable. I'll be really interested to see what this Cleveland offense does look like if they do open it up. Now
I don't think it's going to be any different, honestly. Like,
no.
If Deshaun Watson was playing great, I'd be like, yeah, they're probably going to throw more. But he looks, I mean,
yeah,
makes it like it's like Russ, but only if it's Russ when he was like in his prime. Like, how did Deshaun Watson go from like a top 5 QB to this? Like, is Cleveland just that bad of a place that
no quarterback shall succeed in Cleveland? It's possible. And we should bring this up too. Remember the bump with the ref, and there's talk. Do you think he will be suspended? Probably.
No, they released a thing today saying they felt it was inadvertent and nothing will be.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, not worried about suspension. Worried about not putting up a lot of yards.
Yeah, this is the week. Look, they play Tennessee this week. If he looks awful this week against Tennessee, then it's officially like, okay, taking that L.
Yeah, agree. All right, Pedro Navarez off waiver. And you know what? We've had this question already multiple times. So everyone listening, if you're picking between these two, Kyren Williams, clear number 1 running back, pretty much the only running back for the Rams and catching passes and scoring touchdowns, or the new running back one for Cleveland. If you had to pick one, who is it?
It's for sure Ford. I mean, he's in the better offense as far as the running scheme goes. There's still, look, the thing with Kyren Williams is I know they want to trade Cam Akers, but remember last year when they wanted to trade Cam Akers and nobody wanted Cam Akers? And then they brought Cam Akers back and cut Darrell Henderson. I'm not saying they're going to bring Cam Akers back and cut Kyren Williams. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But there's still the threat that Cam Akers doesn't get traded again because he's a running back and nobody wants running backs in the NFL anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Jonathan Taylor couldn't get traded, and we think Cam Akers is getting traded. So there's a chance that the Rams will say fine, come back and play, and he starts eating into Kyren Williams' workload at some point. I am not worried about anybody taking significant touches from Jerome Ford. Even if they went right now, you told me right now, this second they just signed Kareem Hunt. Okay. Kareem Hunt will get some touches. He'll probably have the same role he had last year with Nick Chubb. Were we worried about Nick Chubb with Kareem Hunt? No. So, I mean, it's clearly Ford. He's and not only that, Jerome Ford is built to be a workhorse. He's not a big guy, but he's over 210. He was a workhorse in college. Kyren Williams was not a workhorse in college. Didn't even average 5 yards per carry. Hasn't been looking good running the ball. He's been succeeding in the passing game, which, is good. He can do that. But for me, it's easily Ford here. Easily Ford.
All right, so this is interesting. And I would say we had this question. I remember who somebody asked in the Discord. I already said, look, I like Jerome Ford coming out of college. I liked and was just hoping for him to get an opportunity. Not like this, obviously, but hoping for him to get some run. And here it is. I like Jerome Ford. I've never liked Kyren Williams. I just haven't. And not just because, I have irrational love for Cam Akers, but also because I just didn't think he had enough juice. And, he didn't have the size, like you said, to be an every down back. Well, Sean McVay doesn't care. He's making him an every down back. So I will say I like Ford better, but I think in fantasy right now, I'm probably leaning Kyren just because he's getting more receptions and he's getting all of the goal line work too somehow, and he's doing a good job of it. And with Ford, I mean, I think they're going to sign somebody, even if it's not Hunt or somebody. So I don't know that we're going to see quite the same volume. I think just the pass catching edge in a PPR league gives me the slight edge for Kyren Williams. And again, it pains me to say this because I really, really like Ford better than Kyren Williams. But I do think Akers does go on because they've had enough of this. Like this isn't the first time, right? It's like, and this wasn't him requesting a trade. He's like, I don't even know what happened, but they're just like done with him. And there's teams, apparently specific teams checking in on him. Like Baltimore needs a running back. Cleveland needs a running back. the Colts might need a running back. So I could see Akers actually being gone. That's the thing. I think Kyren Williams, as far as touches, but also receptions, I think it gives him a little bit of an edge. But you should be bidding on both.
Yeah.
Honestly, you should be bidding on both, even if you don't need both. I mean, don't drop a good starting running back to get him, but try to get both and at least put a backup bid for one if you don't get the other. All right, let's move on. We got plenty of chats lined up. Had Pickens, nice. Going against Thomas in a 9-point deficit. Pickens did come through. He won by 0.68. All right.
Nice.
So just pass along the good vibes. Hopefully everyone has a win like that at some point. Here's a quick one that's not a super chat. If you can't find a trade partner for Garrett Wilson, you drop him.
Yeah, no, don't drop him. I mean, there's got to be somebody. I mean, there's got to be somebody willing to take Garrett Wilson. There are still people very high on Garrett Wilson, and last week didn't change their mind, even though I don't know if you saw the stat I posted in the Discord, but Garrett Wilson's catchable target rate last week was 43%. Last year, Kyle Pitts' catchable rate was like 58%, and that was horrendous. And Zach Wilson currently last of all quarterbacks in accuracy. Like, if you still believe in Garrett Wilson, I don't know what to tell you. You're just believing that Garrett Wilson can rip off a long touchdown every time he touches the ball or every other time he touches the ball. That's really all you are betting on with Garrett Wilson. But there are people who still believe in him. And look, he's a talented guy. It's not his fault. It's just he's got Zach Wilson.
Try to trade him, but don't drop him. I wouldn't say drop him. No, and also ML returning champ, nice. Drop Jerry Jeudy. I don't like him, but I'm not dropping him.
Yeah, you can't drop him. I mean, you don't have to, if you don't want to start him, that's fine, but don't drop him.
All right. And then a quick one here. Dylan, lost Chubb and Dobbins. What do I do? Just remember, it's okay to cry.
Yeah, that is brutal, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, Dylan. That is brutal. I mean,
waiver wire.
That's just brutal.
Humberto, what is up? Tough week. Lost Barkley. Maybe Adams. No, I think Adams will be fine. They say he's fine. Decided to shake it up, trading Mike Williams for Justin Fields.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the shakeup you needed, though. I mean, because it's not like Justin Fields has been lighting it up. I think the shakeup I would have suggested was trade Barkley right now. Not that I'm like against Barkley or anything, but like there's this Brian Daboll today saying, "Oh, we'll see if he plays on Thursday." No, it's gonna be like Deontay Johnson. Like, Thursday morning is gonna come around and they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he's out," right? Like he's probably gonna miss a few weeks. He's probably gonna struggle for a few weeks when he comes back because that's how it goes with ankles. Like, an 0-2 team, if you wanted to shake it up, I would have traded Barkley because Barkley's probably not going to help you for the next 3 or more weeks. So that's what I would have. If I was gonna shake it up, I would have said like, okay, who's ready to hold Barkley and give me something that I can use for the next 5 weeks or whatever.
And we talk about this with Fields. They're just not designing runs for him. And my take was that, well, basically, they're trying to prove that he can throw. They're trying to prove that DJ Moore was worth getting and that they're going to go out and, use him. I also saw somebody on Twitter say, one of the analysts, not just random guy on Twitter, but somebody thinking that they're just trying to protect him, like keep him safe because not exposing him to the runs. Basically, the opposite of what they did, with Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis, because they don't want to see that, right? They don't want to see him get concussed or get an injury in week 2. So they will open things up eventually. It's not a bad shot to take Justin Fields. I think buying low. I don't know if that helps your overall roster, but it's worth trying something. Okay, we do have to address this, Chris, before we get to the next super chat, because I get it too. So Jerry Reed. So RB starts sit. Jerome Ford.
Yeah, because it's the Titans. I remember if you were here, Gary, last week with Joshua Kelly, we told almost everybody not to start. I mean, I think like 98% of the time we said don't start Kelly. The only time we said start Kelly if the other option was like, Tank Bigsby or somebody who's barely touching the ball, right? Then we said start Kelly. Not because of Kelly, because he was playing the Titans. Titans currently the second best run defense in the NFL, and they were the third best run defense in the NFL last year. They are an insanely good run defense and an insanely bad pass defense. The way you beat this team is through the air. That's why I said if Deshaun Watson bombs this week, it is full-fledged panic on Deshaun Watson. Look, Ford can still come through. He catches passes. He can always score a touchdown, but you really are going to need that this week. So, yeah, maybe saying Ford was like a sit was a little too much. Maybe he would have been better off if we said, like, if you need to start him, you can, because we know he's going to get the volume. Like, well, we know the volume will be there, but you can't feel great about it in this matchup. I mean, look at what Joshua Kelly just did against the Titans, which was pretty much nothing.
Look, if you just lost Chubb and you're picking up Ford to replace him, you might need to start Jerome Ford. You might not have another choice. But that's why, because, again, I know you feel like, you're saying go all in, spend all your FAAB to get Jerome Ford, but then don't play him. Just because you pick up a guy on waivers doesn't mean you have to start him. You don't. You're all in on Ford for the season. But, again, if you have a better option, which you might, you can still not play Jerome Ford. Now, it all depends, It's like, what if I have DeAndre Swift or Jerome Ford? It's not automatically Jerome Ford. It's going to be it depends kind of thing. So
this week I'd go Swift, but going forward, I might go Ford.
Exactly. But you still want to pick him up. All right.
Yes, because it's only week 3. It's not like it's week 17, like where it's like I'm going to pick him up and not play him. It's only week 3.
Well, here's a good example. Do I start Ford over Zach Moss? Okay, yeah. You might want to start Ford over Zach Moss because Zach Moss also doesn't have a good matchup. But anyways, we're not going to just dwell on Ford. But all right, Zen just got an offer to trade away Puka and Mostert to week 2 heroes to receive Devontae Smith.
I mean, I think I have to do this. I mean, the only way you don't do this trade is if you really think Puka is going to be that guy, even when Cooper Kupp is back, or you really believe Cooper Kupp is not coming back this year. Like, you really believe the Rams are paying him $30 million or whatever it is to, sit on the couch and watch the games. Or you just think his hamstring is just complete toast or whatever, which I don't. I mean, we've seen lots of guys with hamstring injuries. We've already seen lots of guys with hamstring injuries come back and play this year. Jerome Ford, by the way, had a hamstring injury in preseason, and he looks fine to me. Looked fine to me last night. I think long-term you're going to be happier with Smith. Look, I was wrong on Mostert last week. I thought he'd get shut down. But he looks good. He might look good for 2 more weeks now. But in week 5, Jeff Wilson is back, and now it's probably going to be some sort of committee. Shane is eventually going to earn more touches. It's going to be more of a committee. I think in the long run, you'll be happier with Smith than these guys. I'm taking Smith here.
I'm not assuming that Puka is going to outproduce Devontae Smith the rest of the season. With or without Kupp. I'm just not going to assume that. It's still just a 2-game sample. We're not telling you to sit Puka anymore. No, you have to start him until further notice.
Yes.
But again, I'm taking Devontae Smith over Puka. And then Mostert, again, he's not going to do what he did in week 2 every week. So, yes, definitely startable now, but give me Devontae Smith. And that makes a nice little stack with Hurts there, a little bonus.
Yeah.
Nando's World traded Diggs, KW, and Dotson for Pollard, Amari, Addison, and Dak. The 3 for 4. That's interesting. What do you think?
Well, I don't really understand the Dak part when you already have Trevor Lawrence. I know Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great yet, but I mean, it's not like Dak has been like phenomenal.
No.
I certainly prefer Addison over Dotson. I certainly prefer Pollard over Walker. Obviously, I prefer Diggs over Cooper, but I mean, okay, so you're taking a slight downgrade at your wide receiver 1 to get a really big upgrade at running back 1. And I think as much as I like Dotson, I liked Addison more before the season, and I like him even more now from what I've seen so far. So I think in the end, you're going to come out ahead in this one. I don't think it's like a completely lopsided trade, but I think in the end, the Cooper, Addison, Pollard side is going to come out on top.
Yeah, I would take that side. Yeah, Dak's not a difference maker in this deal because you probably won't start him much, but I think it's pretty good. Assuming Amari Cooper is still good with Deshaun Watson, I think he will be. So I think it's a good deal for you. All right, let's go to Ramu. Welcome back, Ramu. Sick of the Pittsburgh offense, aren't we all? Except for Pickens. Would you drop Muth for one of those tight ends?
I mean, if I'm picking up one of these tight ends, it's probably going to be Laporta. I know Ferguson scored last week, but I mean, what is he really giving you outside of a touchdown right now? Which are, look, I mean, there's a lot of tight ends that don't give you much outside of a touchdown, but Laporta is giving you pretty decent production without touchdowns right now. I mean, I definitely was expecting more from Freiermuth last night. I thought he'd get more involved, but you're right, man. This Pittsburgh, I think the only thing I was wrong about this Pittsburgh offense is that they did target Pickens more. I don't know if they targeted him differently. I still feel like every throw was just chucked down the field. But at least he got 10 targets. I mean, that's incredible. But this Pittsburgh offense, I mean, what is this thing? This is like, it's like you're watching a high school team, right? They can't run, like nobody can block. It's either just chuck it down the field for a big play or, punt, 3 and out and then punt. That's all this. It's like, this is like a high school offense. It's like when you played, with your buddies out in the park. It's like, just go deep. Everybody just go deep. Oh, well, 4th down punt. It's ridiculous. So I don't know. I'm probably still holding Freiermuth, but I get the frustration.
Yeah, I mean, it's tempting to drop Freiermuth, but for those guys, they don't really excite me much. But I know what you're saying. Like, you don't want to just keep, banging your head into the wall and keep starting the same guy who doesn't do anything. So, you think I really thought Muth would have a good game without Deontay Johnson going against this defense. I think you can give him another week. Got a good matchup with the Raiders next week. So,
yeah,
I think it's worth trying. Ferguson, I was almost ready to go in on Ferguson because he's getting targeted and he gets the end zone targets, right? Scored touchdown. But then I look and I see, well, wait, they're targeting the backup other tight end in the red zone and then the other tight end. So I don't feel like he's got a really secure target share just yet. And when Brandon Cooks comes back, that might hurt him. And Ferguson just hasn't looked super sharp. So I would keep Muth for this week. One more chance. See if he does something against the Raiders. Drop Bourne for Dell. Would you do that?
Yeah, why not? I don't think Bourne has a ton of upside. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you drop Kendrick Bourne and Tank Dell does nothing, you can pick up Kendrick Bourne again next week if you want. Like, he'll still be sitting there, waiting for you. So, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Bourne is getting a ton of air yards. I mean, he's getting deep shots and he's getting targeted still, but he's on the Patriots. So, yeah. And opinions on this trade. Got Lamar Jackson and Ramondre for Pollard and Cup.
Well, I hope you got Pollard and Cup, because whoever got Pollard and Cup destroyed this trade. I know everybody right now who has Puka is like, oh, you sucker, you got Cooper Cup. But in the end, Pollard, I have to, every chance I can, I got to throw that out there. It's going to look so bad. I'm going to look so bad if Cup doesn't play this year. I'm going to hear it from everybody.
Puka wins the MVP.
Yeah, Puka, rookie of the year.
Goes for 2,000
MVP.
yards.
And it's not Tyreek Hill. It's not Justin Jefferson. It's Puka. Although it's going to be hard to get 2,000 yards when you need 20 catches just to get, 150 yards. But Pollard and Cup side just won this trade by a mile. I mean, by a mile.
Well, and not just that, because I'm pretty sure he was the one who traded Lamar and Ramondre, because he said, I have Cousins. So he's like, yeah, I don't need Lamar Jackson. I'm good with Cousins. So he's getting Pollard and Cup. So
yeah, job. You want, and you are good with Cousins. I mean, Cousins feels like a guy you can probably start almost every week, honestly.
Yeah, you'll be fine with him. All right. Mr. 808 Kayana, thank you. Appreciate the super chat. 12-man half point. Got Goff, Diggs, Jordan Addison, Pollard, Etienne, Ertz, Kenneth Walker, a kicker and a defense. London, DJ Moore on the bench. Kamara, Cortland, Granson, nice. Sam Howell. Who would you start?
this is a great team outside of tight end, but I mean, who cares, right? When you have this team, you got Diggs and Addison, Pollard and Etienne, Walker. You got just Drake London, DJ Moore just chilling on your bench. Look, if Jamal Williams misses, they're saying he's going to be out weeks. If he misses time, I mean, that might make Kamara okay because now maybe he'll score a touchdown now because Jamal isn't there to vulture. Although it'll probably just be Tony Jones vulture the touchdowns, right? I don't think I changed anything. I mean, are we going Granson over Ertz? I mean, I know Granson scored last week, but do we feel good about Granson against the Ravens on the road?
Nah, I'm not. Yeah. I'm keeping Ertz.
Yeah, I don't think you could change anything here. I mean, are we starting DJ Moore over Walker or London over Walker?
That's the only one I'm kind of thinking of. DJ Moore against the Chiefs. I mean, you'd think maybe a good opportunity for a receiver, but then you remember he's on the Bears. He had a big week, right? He had nice yardage. They went to him. I think they're going to have to pass the ball. I'm thinking, who would I sit though? Because I do like Walker this week. I think he'll be good. And then it's half-point PPR. I don't feel good enough about Drake London to really consider him. If I did change anything, it would be more. I guess the only question is, would it be Addison? That's it, but not against the Chargers. So probably keep it the way it is.
I think Addison's in his. Oh, I see. So DJ Moore over Addison. No, I don't think. No, I'm going Addison. Like in that matchup against the Chargers at home in the dome. I mean that game could have.
I would just keep it the way
points.
It is.
Yeah, that game could be 100-point total. I mean, I know it won't, but it has that potential.
Definitely could. All right, so you're good. Got some good moves there to get on the bench. I mean, yeah, why not? All right. K Styles got offered Diggs for Garrett Wilson and Swift.
I think you have to do this. I mean,
yeah.
The only way I could see this not working out for you, well, I'm assuming you're getting Diggs. You said got offered Diggs, so I'm assuming you're getting Diggs. The only way this would not work out for you is if Swift does end up being like that league-winning running back, Josh Jacobs type running back this year, which, I mean, maybe. But right now, we don't know that, and we know Diggs is a top 5 wide receiver. So I think if you can get Diggs here, you got to get Diggs.
Yeah, I'm taking Diggs. I mean, Garrett Wilson, this is the time to trade him. Swift, I like Swift, but I'd rather have Diggs. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna take this. If you got offer Diggs, which is kind of weird, why is somebody wanting to trade Diggs? I guess they want trading for Garrett Wilson. I don't know why somebody's doing this, but I'll take Diggs. All right, flex one and drop I Mind Heart with the perfect dark avatar. Very nice. Flex and drop to pick up Ford. Okay, so we got Michael Thomas, Josh Reynolds, Tutu Atwell, Dobbs, and Akers.
I mean, I think right now you got to drop Akers, right? I mean, what are we hoping for Akers? He gets traded or he gets cut, and then some team adds him, and then whatever team adds him, you're like, oh, okay, I feel great about him. Like how good are we gonna feel about Akers if he goes to the Ravens? Like, does he just instantly come in and make Gus Edwards and Justice Hill irrelevant? Probably not. I mean, you could drop Atwell too if you want, I guess, or Reynolds. But I mean, Akers isn't like he's not even playing right now.
I know it needs to be Akers because, like you said, even if he does get traded, he's going to get all the touches in whatever backfield he joins. No,
yeah.
So it has to be Akers that you drop, and then flex. So who would you flex this week between those guys?
Is it terrible? I'm going to say Michael Thomas. I think Atwell gives you the most upside. Like if you want to shoot for that upside. But MT feels like the safest because it's the Packers, which isn't a great matchup. But you got to think Jair Alexander is probably going to spend quite a bit of time covering Chris Olave, which means MT will probably be open. I mean, he's not racking up huge yardage totals or anything, but he's getting targets. He's getting catches. It's either him or Atwell. I guess it's a floor ceiling debate. So if you want the ceiling, go Atwell. If you want the floor, go Thomas. Reynolds not bad too, actually. Reynolds might be a good floor play too this week, actually.
I'm kind of thinking Reynolds, actually. I mean, he's been good, and he gets, the Falcons this week. So Reynolds might be the most interesting pick here. Michael Thomas is kind of the floor guy now. That's what he's doing. Catching passes, decent, but not great yardage. But I don't know. I might actually go with Reynolds out of this bunch. But yeah, if you're going to drop somebody, sadly, it should be Akers. Ryan Torres with a sticker. Appreciate that. And then thoughts this week, flex options, pick 2 between those guys. Stevenson, James Cook, Ford, Addison, London, Sky Moore.
Well, I have to be really stacked to not play Addison this week against the Chargers. Again, at home. I think the Chargers are the worst against receivers right now. And the Vikings, we've seen the Vikings defense. Like, neither of these defenses are going to be able to stop the other team. Like, this could be, look, I know it's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be some letdown game, and it's going to be like 10-7, and we're going to be like, what the heck happened? But this feels like a game where there could be 0 punts. Like, there could be 0 punts in this game because no defense can stop the other offense. So I think Addison is a must, and I still think Stevenson is a must. I know in week 1, people were like, oh my God, Zeke was involved. But I think that was because Stevenson got sick like Friday or Saturday before the game. I don't think he was like fully recovered. Last Sunday, Zeke got 5 carries. That was it. He did nothing. He's just a body. It's Stevenson's backfield. So I'm going Addison and Stevenson.
I am too. It's just not good matchup this week for Cook. I mean, it's okay, but it's not like last week. And then Ford, again, you have him, great. You don't have to start him. You don't. I'm still putting Ramondre over him. And yeah, Addison feels almost like a must start. Streaming D, pick 1. Pats, Jags, Browns, Chiefs. Just go Pats again.
Right? Gotta be the Pats.
Yeah. Whatever team is playing Zach Wilson.
That one.
That's the one. George, what's up, George? Lost this week because of Sean Watson and the Steelers defense, which pulled off 2 defensive touchdowns. Nice.
I think it's okay to say, like, I don't ever like to say I hate somebody, but Deshaun Watson, it might be okay. He doesn't seem like a great human being.
Try not to make it personal, but sometimes you just can't help it, right? Sometimes
he doesn't seem like a stellar human being, in my opinion.
What would give you that? Okay, we're not going. Let's go on to Steven with another one. 10-team full PPR. Starting lineup going forward is Lamar, Bijan, Madison, or White. Okay. Amon-Ra, potentially Watson.
Yeah, once healthy.
Pickens, Andrews, Nico, and Addison. That's pretty good. Would you trade somebody for Ford or Kyren?
I don't think so. I don't think you need to. I mean, you got Bijan, so yeah, he's pretty good. And then, like you said, between Madison and White, you can play matchups. So, like this week, you can go Madison. He's got the Chargers. I don't know who they play next, but you can play matchups there. I think you're fine at RB2. You've got great wide receivers. You got a great tight end. I don't want to give up that advantage. Not for guys like Ford or Kyren Williams. I mean, if you could trade a wide receiver and an RB2 and get an RB1, I'd say yes. But for Ford and Kyren, no, I want something better.
Yeah, I mean, besides the fact you just hate to trade a good player, for someone that just got scooped up off of waivers that you maybe could have had. But also, again, Ford, yes, definitely worth picking up. I don't want to go out and trade for him. I mean, I think you could be fine with White, maybe Madison. So I think you're okay. You don't want to lose, like you said, that advantage at receiver. So you'll be fine. Mix and match RB2. It's not the worst thing in the world. Cheekers, Ford and Nico on the waiver. What do you do?
This is close. I think it comes down to what you need. I mean, I'm going to guess, just because it's fantasy football, you probably need running back, because I think we pretty much all need running back right now. Like if you having the question we just got, having Bijan, Alexander Madison, and Rachaad White is probably better than most of your league. Honestly, probably better than most of your league, because we don't have Nick Chubb anymore. We are Brandon Staley said not sure on the timetable for Austin Eckler. We know Saquon Barkley is going to miss some time. J.K. Dobbins is already gone. I mean, chances are like you need running back right now. But if somehow, some way you're like, well, I drafted Bijan Robinson and then got Tony Pollard in the second, okay, then I would go Nico or something like that. But if you need running back, I think it's got to be Ford. Even though I got to get Nico on my roster too, though, somehow.
I know. But one thing also, like I mentioned, I also always view the waiver wire as a defensive maneuver, block that Chubb owner from getting forward, block somebody else who lost a running back from getting forward, get forward. It's just more valuable to have.
Yes.
And one thing I would say I'd warn against is, sometimes they're like, okay, there's 2 or 3 guys I want, and you're going to spend like a third, bids to try to get him. And you wind up with nobody because everybody outbid you. Don't split the difference here, get greedy. And I get it. You want to try, you're not going to outbid everybody for every good player. So you probably want to try to go as much all in on one guy that you really want or need.
Yep.
And then, put a backup bid on the other player, but don't lowball and then wind up with nothing.
Exactly.
You don't have to spend all your FAAB. I'm not saying it depends on your league. But I would say probably just go forward. What's up, Joe? Joe Castles.
What's up, Joe?
Collins, Watson, Dotson, London. Start them this week. Are we going yes, no? Or are we picking one? Ranking them?
I guess we'll go yes and no. Yes to Collins. Yes to Watson if he plays and he practices. Not one of these game time decision things. Mostly no to Dotson this week. I mean, he's not like unstartable to me, but I don't love him this week. And then I'd say I guess mostly yes to London, but I don't feel like he's a guy like I have to start this week. It's not a great matchup for him. I do think they will have to throw a bit more, and I did see that Gardner Johnson went on IR, which makes the secondary a little less strong. But I don't feel like London's a guy like you have to start London this week. So Collins, yes. Watson, yes, if he's healthy. Dotson, only if you need to. London, you can. How about that?
Yeah, and I would say if you meant rank them, then I would say Collins, Watson, London, Dotson. I think that's the order we're kind of feeling them.
I agree.
Juice 420. Got a 14 team. PPR needs a running back and a flex between Ramondre, Kyren, Addison, Waddle if he plays, or Michael Thomas, because I still believe I believe he's not going to be the guy I'm going to pick out of that group. But okay, running back.
This is tough between Stevenson and Kyren, but can you really sit Kyren right now? I don't think you can. Not in PPR. I think I got to give Kyren the slight edge this week. I mean, I still like Stevenson. He does have a tough matchup against the Jets, so that might sway me slightly towards Kyren right now. He's catching passes. It's PPR. I'll go slightly Kyren. And then, look, if Waddle plays, he's in my lineup every single week. It's just way too much upside. But if he doesn't play, I think Addison will also be great this week. So I would be more than happy flexing Addison this week if Waddle is out.
Yeah, Waddle is a must start if he plays, unless he's limited or whatever. I mean, only because it's the Jets that I would say you can sit Ramondre because Kyren's getting all the touches and that offense is moving the ball. Do you think if Sun God will play this week? Haven't heard anything specific on him today. Have you?
No, we probably won't start getting an idea until tomorrow. But I mean, he came back in the game, and I haven't heard anything about an injury. So I feel pretty good that he will play this week. Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention him on the injury report for the waiver video because I hadn't heard anything about him potentially being out. So assuming he'll play, don't take him out of your lineup. Quickie here, regular chat. Matthew Rice said he traded Dameon Pierce and Rashawn Johnson for Calvin Ridley in a dynasty league. That's a win.
I mean, I still like it in dynasty because look, Dameon Pierce, if he doesn't start doing something, his dynasty value is about to hit the tank. Rashawn still has some dynasty value, but look, Calvin Ridley is only what, 28? 27, 28?
Ridley is 28, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so you should still expect at least a couple more good years from Ridley, especially in this offense. So I think that's a win for you.
Yeah. And you know what? Dynasty, always going to prefer the receiver, just longer
Yes.
shelf life. Yeah, Pierce, he's another guy who's got a lot to prove. He needs to turn something around. But yeah, I would definitely take Calvin Ridley in this deal. Michael, what's up, Michael Cazares? Non-PPR has White, Pollard, Swift, Akers, Sharp, Gus, and Gainwell. That's a lot of running backs. Drop any for any of those guys. Don't trade Mahomes.
I mean, again, I'm going to say you can drop Akers. I think Spears is the guy I want right now because we just saw the value of a guy like Spears last night. Because we have seen Spears. Wait, is that Jacoby Myers?
I was just going to say there's some receivers in there. Myers and Marquise.
Is that Marquise Brown?
I think so.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Before I go on my Spears rant, hold on. Like Marquise Brown should not be on waiver wire.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm dropping Akers for Hollywood. I mean, your wide. Who are your wide? You didn't list. It's weird because you only listed the running backs you have, and then you listed a bunch of players.
Yeah, and then running backs and receivers. I mean, between all those, I would drop Gainwell.
Well, here's the thing about Gainwell. He's actually on a roster right now. And we don't know. Look, I know Akers is your guy. And look, I was high on Akers. I drafted him. I thought he was going to be great. Mm-hmm. But he's at the moment, he's either hoping for a trade or he's
sorry. What I mean is I would drop Akers and Gainwell, and I would pick up Myers and Hollywood.
Yeah, but I think it comes down to he didn't put his wide receivers here. Like I think Hollywood should not be on waiver wire. I know he's bad right now because of Josh Dobbs, but he wasn't terrible in week 2, and they're playing hard. They're fighting. They're almost winning games. They're going to bring Kyler back. Like this isn't a team that's like we have no chance. Like you put Kyler in there, they're going to start winning some games. So, and then for me, I guess it comes down. I do really like Jacoby Myers. I do really like him. But if you already have like 5 or 6 really good wide receivers, what is Jacoby Myers going to do for your team? He's going to sit on your bench and never play. And what I was going to say about Spears is we saw last night the value of a guy like Spears.
Correct.
Spears first of all, he's already getting all the third down snaps. He's catching passes, and he's even getting some carries, like more carries than we've ever seen any other running back get with Derrick Henry. It's not just Derrick Henry getting all the carries anymore. He's getting most of them, but not all of them. If Derrick Henry gets hurt like Nick Chubb did last night, Tyjae Spears will probably be better than Jerome Ford, honestly, rest of the season, because I feel like he's a better running back. And he looks awesome. So I would really want to pick up Spears if I could. So I might drop it. I mean, it depends on your wide receivers, but I think, yeah, Akers and Gainwell, and I'm probably getting Hollywood and Spears. Unless you really need 2 wide receivers, then I'll get Myers over Spears.
I will say, you got Pollard, and then you got Swift and White. And then Sharp is kind of that handcuff, right, waiting in the wings. If you don't need Gus, maybe swap Gus for Spears. If he's never going to play.
I'd be okay dropping Gus, too.
I think you can drop Akers, Gainwell, and Gus to get Spears, Myers, and Hollywood.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Let's move on because we do have plenty of Super Chats. By the way, guys, because we're almost an hour in. If you did put a Super Chat, we're getting to it. We will definitely answer it. We'll be on until we get to all the Super Chats, so we haven't skipped anybody, at least not that I know of yet. So stay with us. Remain patient. We'll get to your question for sure, and we'll also sprinkle in some of the regular comments as much as we can. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I just remembered that I forgot, because we do talk about on our videos, and we do talk about on our live shows. This is a good time to mention, if you haven't signed up for Underdog, stop what you're doing and do it now. All right. Promo code Endgame does get you a 100% deposit match up to $100 on Underdog. And, we want to tell you about the freebies that they give away always. So there's one right there. And oh, look, it's Daniel Jones. Now, regardless of what you think of Daniel Jones or how he'll do on Thursday, if you think he can get 1 yard, and it actually says he just needs 1 yard, take the higher, and there's a free pick for you. And you might also remember last week they had that 100K Sunday giving away $10,000 to 10 different people just for using the Tua pick. Well, this week, I swear I had no hand in this. This isn't me. This is the overlords at Underdog. They're another Dolphin. It's Tyreek Hill. You don't have to get it right. Just pick higher or lower total yards on Ty Hill. And whatever you choose, you use that pick, you're automatically entered for a chance to win $10,000. Sounds like a good deal. All right. So as it even says there, no requirements for the entry winning or minimum fees. You just use that pick. All right. And combine it with something else. Also a chance just to win your money. So make sure if you're new to Underdog and you're signing up, again, there's that link down below, but use promo code ENDGAME to make sure you get that $100 deposit match. You don't have to go $100. You can even just put in 10, 20, try it out and see what you think. All right. Shrek 2.
No lead up today. No lead up. Like,
I was so hyped up from the Underdog thing. It's like, okay. I wonder one day if Shrek 2 will upgrade to Blu-ray. But for now, 10-man PPR Dynasty. What do I do with Akers? Gainwell. Guys who just said to drop and redraft, but what do you do in Dynasty?
I think you got to hold all these guys. I mean, obviously, if you can ever trade these guys and get something back you like, you should trade them. But like, what is Akers' value in Dynasty right now? Not much. What is Gainwell's value in Dynasty? I mean, maybe after week 1 this year he had some value, but after week 2, people are like, "Oh, wait, hold on, he might not be the guy." I mean, Muth definitely has some value in Dynasty, but I feel like even in Dynasty, Muth is underrated. Like, people don't treat this guy as like the fact that he's a young, good tight end. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think you got to hold these guys. These aren't really guys that maybe Jacob still has some value in Dynasty, but even he's gotten off to a bad start. So I think these are just holds.
I mean, honestly, I would have liked to have traded Jacobs before the season in Dynasty, but too late for that. So hold for now. Akers, what can you do? Like, I nobody's trading for Akers. Muth, he'll be fine. Just hold on. He's had a bad couple of weeks. Pittsburgh, of course, looks awful. Look, maybe things turn up when they finally get rid of their offensive coordinator. So Muth is fine. Gainwell, it's like in a 10-man Dynasty league, I don't think he needs to be rostered, but hold him now just in case. Emilio Arango. Thank you. Appreciate that. Got Richardson, Garoppolo, and Fields because it's a 2 QB league. I'm glad. Only QBs available would be Dobbs and Ritter.
I mean, if you got space and you want to add Ritter, okay, fine. But like, I mean, you're pretty good at QB.
I mean, if you're asking what I want Dobbs, not even in a QB league. Ritter sounded intriguing before the season. I think actually I just roll with Jimmy G at this point. So just hold tight. I mean, you might need to start Garoppolo this week because Richardson, not sure his status. But look, between Fields and AR, you should be pretty good going forward for the most part. You got a high ceiling. It's going to be volatile, right? It's going to be a roller coaster with those two guys, but you have a ton of upside. And then Antonio, don't know if we remember the trade from last week, but it blew up in the face with Chubb getting hurt. If you traded for Chubb, I mean, look, that's just
bad luck. That's bad luck.
I can't say I remember all the details of the trade. I remember talking about it. I mean, I remember we did discuss it a couple times, but yeah, what can you do?
That's fantasy. That's football, honestly. I mean, at any moment, right? At any moment.
And you know what? The bad thing is there's more injuries to come. Guarantee somebody will get hurt this week. Somebody will get hurt next week. It's going to keep happening. So nothing you can do there. Tommy's Fields or Cousin?
This week I'm going Cousins. There are only like maybe 5 QBs I'm starting over Kirk Cousins this week.
Yeah, the matchup. I mean, the volume is clearly there. The receivers are pretty good.
Yeah.
This week, I don't think you have to sweat it with Fields if you have Cousins. Go Cousins. Don't worry about it. Ali is back in the house.
What's
Ali?
up?
All right, so lost again with 165 by 4 points.
Jeez.
Oh, man. Needs a running back. Breece Hall. No, don't go there with Breece Hall. Dalvin Cook. Oh. Spears. Sharp. Oh, man.
I mean, these are your running backs, and you scored 165? I mean, yeah, if you can get Jaylen Warren, I would start him over those guys. Jaylen Warren, actually, I mean, look, people are like, he looks better than Najee. Okay, yeah, because he catches screen passes out in space, and Najee is running into 5 defenders because his O-line can't block. Jaylen Warren does not look good running the ball either. Looks terrible, but he's catching passes, and that's a good thing. And he gets the Raiders this week, so I would start Jaylen Warren over all those guys this week.
Yeah, definitely would pick up Warren and start him over any of those guys. Hold on to Sharp and Spears because those are some guys that could pay off big. Really wish you hadn't drafted 2 Jets running backs, much less, 1, much less 2, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I'd go Warren. Okay, now here is a very interesting question from David Bloom. Puka is somehow still available in the league, and he's got the number 1 claim, but are you picking up Puka or Jerome Ford? See, this is why I get to ask the question first, so you have to answer first.
If it's me, I'm going Ford. I just am. Look, you're starting Puka this week, and he'll probably be awesome. You're starting Puka next week, and he'll probably be awesome. Maybe you're starting Puka in week 5 if Cup's not back by then. Week 6, I mean, okay, maybe you're still starting Puka, but is he going to be awesome when Cup is back? You can't, he's not going to get 20 targets with a healthy Cooper Kupp. He's just not. You're just banking on Cooper Kupp not being healthy this year. That is what you're banking on. Who, again, feel bad for Nick Chubb, but who I know will not be healthy the rest of the season? Nick Chubb will not be healthy any more games the whole season. And he's a running back, which is much harder to find. I still got to go forward. I know I just got 10 comments right now saying, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. He hates Puka. But he's a running back, and we know he's the RB1 from now until the end of the season, assuming he stays healthy. I got to go forward. Although I would hate to leave Puka for somebody else.
I mean, I almost want to know, are you starting? I mean, if you have Puka, obviously you're going to start him at this point. I'm wondering who's more valuable to your roster, because I guess the way I'm thinking is if you don't need, or if you aren't going to start, I guess if you don't need, if you have Puka, you should start him. But let's say you already have 3 stud receivers, and I don't even know if I will start him. Or maybe you don't need Ford because, you didn't have Chubb or whatever. So my point is, if you don't need to start one of these guys, whoever you pick up, and you're thinking to trade him, right, to flip. Although if Puka's still out there in waiver wires, what is your league name?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe there's no trade value here if people are just like, that guy. But I'm thinking maybe Puka has more value right now. You know what I mean? But
he definitely does.
Ford's a running back, so
exactly. But all it's going to take is for Kupp to come back, get 15 targets, and Puka's value is gone, that quick. So I mean, yeah, if Puka's still on the waiver wire, I'm not considering who has more value, because obviously in this league, Puka doesn't have any value.
Well, then maybe the answer is Ford because of that, right? Everyone's running back crazy. Go with the running back. Go forward. Make it easy. All right, that's crazy. But at least you're getting them. That's nice. Carl Williams. Waiver. Rate these guys. Brandon Cooks, Jerome Ford, Jaden Reed, Tank Dell.
Ford first. I don't want to get too recency biased here.
I know you're going to put Cooks last. It's okay.
I'm debating reading Cooks, honestly. I wasn't really super high on Cooks this year. I think I'd probably go Reed second, Cooks third, Dell fourth. I'm not really a Dell believer yet. So I'll go Ford, Reed, Cooks, Dell. But really, it's like Ford, and then you could talk me into the next three in any order you want. But like Ford is significantly above these other three.
Ford is clearly the number one priority here. We were talking about him a bunch. Jaden Reed, I like this offense. I'm putting him 2. Cooks, I still have some faith in. I mean, it's been 2 games where they didn't have to pass the ball at all, and then he missed week 2. So I still like Cooks, and then Dell. Yeah, I'm fine with him, but I mean, is Houston really going to throw the ball that much all year? Maybe they will, but yeah, I still, I like Tank, and I put him on the waiver video, and you can pick him up, but I would put him 4th out of this group, which leads to this question from Diamante Rocha. How much would you put on Tank, though?
I'm not going to go crazy for Tank. I mean, maybe 10%, but I don't even know if I would go that high, to be honest. Like,
I'm going 7.
Yeah, probably 7 max.
Yeah. And then Vaibhav Mutahi, I think. Should I start Stafford or Goff instead of Fields?
Well, Goff is where it gets close for me this week. I like Goff a lot. He's at home against the Falcons. You gotta like that. No David Montgomery, which means maybe they'll throw it more because, or whatever. It probably doesn't even matter, to be honest. Man, but could I start him over Fields this week? I might. Don't drop Fields to pick up Goff. But if you have the bench space to add Goff, he's probably safer than Fields this week. Worst case, look, I maybe Goff bust, but it doesn't seem likely. He usually is really good at home. It's a great matchup. Even if Fields goes off and scores 30 this week and Goff gets you 20, okay, oh well, you still got a good game from Goff, and now you can feel great about Fields going forward. So don't drop Fields for him, but I might go Goff over Fields this week.
I think you probably should go Goff over Fields this week. Until things change in that Chicago offense. I'm not saying you have to bench Fields. And we said this when we talk quarterbacks, if you have somebody who you feel good about. I feel good about Goff this week and no reason not to start him. So this week, yeah, I'll go Goff. Here's a question. Christopher Laborde, welcome back. What do you think about Kendre Miller?
Well, I liked Kendre Miller as a prospect. Unfortunately, he had that MCL sprain in the college football playoffs. And then when he finally got healthy in training camp, he had a hamstring strain. And then his first preseason game, he re-aggravated the knee. And then I think he re-aggravated the hamstring. So it's been a pretty rough start for Kendre Miller in the NFL. But I still think he's a good player. And I'm pretty sure he was practicing last week, even though he didn't play. Now that Jamal almost certainly out, I mean, if he's healthy, they almost have to dress him this week at least. Doesn't mean he's going to get significant touches, but they almost have to play him. So yeah. I certainly think he's a guy you should be keeping your eye on. And if you're in really deep leagues, never a bad thing to have a running back like him on your bench. Like I wouldn't do it in like a 12, 10, or 8-team league. But if you're in like a really deep 14 or 16-team league, I think he's worth an ad right now.
I think he could be a very sneaky stash. And somebody asked about that earlier. I think he's a sneaky stash. So we'll talk more about him in other videos. All right. Again, if you did drop a super chat anytime the last half hour or so, we're getting there. So we're going to start to catch up. Let's do a quick speed round here. If you did a regular chat with an interesting trade question, listen up, because at about the 6:40 mark, I guess, we're more than a half hour. Here we go. Quick thoughts. George Dominguez,
yes.
Drop Kelly to get forward.
Definitely.
DH, flip forward for Anthony Richardson.
No.
The running back is more valuable.
Yeah.
You can stream quarterback. Iggy Madison for Zay Flowers.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Zay Flowers for sure. This is Dale Lawrence. Zay Flowers for AJ
Yes.
Brown.
Yes, as much as I like Zay Flowers, got to go AJ Brown here.
I love me some Zay Flowers, but give me AJ Brown for sure. And then, I don't know why I picked this. Curlinator Kush. Should I start Hall over Ford?
Now you got to pick one I got to think about. I think I still go Ford this week. Still can't feel good about Hall getting a ton of touches. And they have another, it's the Patriots. I know Mostert just did some stuff against the Patriots, but I don't think the Patriots are going to go into this game against the Jets, with all their attention on Tyreek, like they did with Tyreek. Look at what the Patriots did in that game. They were just they were not going to let Tyreek Hill beat them. They just were not.
Yeah.
They're not going to feel that way about the Jets. So I still got to go Ford. He's going to probably get more.
You don't have to worry about anybody beating him except for maybe like the kicker. Actually, not even, probably the punter. Yeah, I'm going Ford. Sorry, I'm still going Ford. All right, back to the super chat. Brian, lost Chubb. Go for Ford, Moss, or Hunt.
Easily Ford.
Definitely Ford. And look, Moss is still worth picking up, but not a good matchup this week. And Ford for sure, even though Ford has a bad matchup this week. Yeah, the pickup here is definitely Ford. Got to think long term. Zach Moss, who knows what's going to happen when JT comes back. MWN, thoughts on pickup Ford, drop Tony?
You can drop Tony for almost anybody, but to get Jerome Ford, yeah, it's a big win. Big win.
Pick up Charbonnet, drop Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to do that quite yet. I know he disappointed last night, but also Cooper played. We didn't expect that. So I'm not really ready to drop Elijah Moore just yet.
And look, if Chubb is not there, maybe they do pass the ball more. Maybe Deshaun Watson just has to figure it out. Yeah, I don't want to drop Elijah Moore, but it's not like anybody's rushing to pick up Charbonnet because he has done nothing. At all. And then it's a kicker question. Would you pick up Maher to drop Carlson?
I don't know. Is Carlson still on the radar? I literally do not even know who Maher is or what team he's on. I think Carlson is on the Raiders, or at least he used to be. Is he still on the Raiders?
But actually, so, we talk about the Moores and the Williamses. There's two Carlsons because his brother is also a kicker in the league. I think he's with Tampa Bay. So
all we need, two Carlson kickers.
Yeah, pick up Maher. Sure. Anthony Cervantes, thank you. Who should I trade Puka for? Could you get a guy like Smith, Brown, and Diggs? Well, apparently, if you can get for Zay Flowers.
I mean, you can get any of these guys. Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, Diggs, Olave, or Chase for Puka. You have to do it. You have to. You have to be irrationally high on Puka to give up one of these guys for him. You just have to.
Somebody's doing it, probably. I bet.
I mean, I'm sure they are.
This is the funny thing. It's just so how different everyone's league. And one league is like, oh man, I get Jamar Chase for Puka, and then some league is like, Puka's on waivers. Do I pick him up? All right, Ronnie. What's up, Ronnie? Chris, you down for a meetup on Sunday or Monday night? I guess.
Well, it's gonna be tough. I would definitely be down for a meetup. But Sunday night, I filmed the panic video, and then I work on the thumbnail and all that. And on Monday night, Pierre and I are together filming for 3+ hours. But I would definitely be down for a meetup. It just might not be able to be Sunday night or Monday night.
Yeah, football season it's pretty busy. So.
And then Thursday night is my night with my wife. So sorry, that night's booked too. So it might have to just be a non-football night.
Yeah. Exactly. Maximus, Henry is available. Okay. Glad you clarified.
I thought it was Derrick Henry for a second. I was like, this has gone off the rails now. It's off the rails.
Just log off. Okay, drop move for Henry.
I think I might do this. I don't really like Hunter Henry's matchup this week. I don't know. Is this too much? Am I going too much recency bias here? But at least Henry's getting targets and scoring touchdowns. I mean, It's not a good matchup for Henry this week. It's a better matchup for Freiermuth. I might roll with Freiermuth one more week.
That's the thing. It's just this might be the move, but not this week because it just so happens Freiermuth has a really good matchup and Hunter Henry has a terrible matchup. So this is not the week. Try Muth one more week. If he disappoints, then that's fine. Go for Hunter Henry. Jason with another same idea. Would I trade Kupp for either Henry or Barkley? Interesting. Instead of trading Puka, trading Kupp to get one of those. I mean,
I would certainly prefer Henry. I would prefer Barkley long term, but look, I know you're not going to have Kupp for a couple weeks, so maybe not having Barkley isn't a big loss because you're not going to have Kupp anyways. I am still of the belief that when Cooper Kupp comes back, he's going to destroy fantasy football. Again, I'll say it again. Imagine Cooper Kupp never got hurt. And let's plop Cooper Kupp into this Rams offense right now. How badly is he destroying fantasy football through 2 weeks? Really? Just take your Puka bias aside, put it aside for a second, and just think unbiasedly about Cooper Kupp, a healthy Cooper Kupp in this offense for the first 2 games. How many fantasy points does Cooper Kupp have right now?
He's
70?
doing what he did a couple of years ago. He's basically your number one receiver. And we'd be like, oh yeah, Puka looks like he's got potential. He had a decent game the other day, because Kupp is getting 15 catches and Puka's getting 7.
Exactly. You got a healthy Matthew Stafford. They're throwing the ball like ridiculous amounts, and the offensive line looks good again. I'm still of the belief that as soon as Kupp gets back, everybody who has Kupp suddenly has a fantasy champion contender instantly, assuming he stays healthy, of course. Which you got.
So that sounds like you're not trading Kupp.
Yeah, I would not Henry. Look, Henry is fine, and he'll probably finish as RB 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that because he's not going to catch enough passes because Tyjae Spears is taking all the third down snaps, so he's just getting second down screens every now and then. He'll score touchdowns and he'll have his yardage. Barkley, again, I think will be good. He'll probably be a top 5 running back. Maybe not now because he's going to miss a bunch of games, but for the second half of the season, he'll probably be a top 5 running back. But Cooper Kupp in this offense, a healthy Cooper Kupp in this offense is going to be 2 years ago Cooper Kupp again. You really want to trade that for these guys? I don't. I'm banking on that. That is a guy who can win you a championship. I'm keeping Kupp. I'm not. These guys aren't enough for me.
And you think about it, you really want to trade given the way running backs have been, the injury risk. Kupp coming back from injury, Barkley is injured also already. Yep. And then I think we know that there's legit risk with Derrick Henry. Yes. So, yeah. And this is a perfect lead into this question from RJ. How long do you keep Puka before you trade him? Is now the time? Do you wait another week or 2?
Yeah, I think you can certainly wait at least another week because we know Kupp isn't coming back before week 5. So if you want to wait another week, I think that's totally fair. If you want to really gamble and wait another week, you can. But I really don't even know if Puka is going to lose value when Kupp is back. I really honestly believe people think he is the Rams wide receiver 1 now. Not everybody, but there are a percentage of people who just think Puka is the new Cooper Kupp. And when Cooper Kupp comes back, he's going to be, I don't know what he's going to be. Not Cooper Kupp, apparently, because they got Puka. So if you want to gamble, because look, for every week that Cooper Kupp is out, Puka is a must start. He's a must start. I'm not sitting here saying
yeah.
So I certainly think you could wait till week 4. You could maybe push it to week 5 if you really want to get another week out of Puka. But yeah.
Yeah, you can if you're going to get AJ Brown type stuff on Diggs type. Just do it now.
Just do it now.
Yeah, you don't have to wait, but it all depends. Big route or route. Drop game for Kyren Williams. You have to.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely do that. Sebastian, who to start in full PPR? Got Ramondre, Walker, Gibbs, Brian Robinson, Connor, and Ford. It's pretty good. Hill, CD, Cooper, DJ Moore, Addison. God, that's pretty good too. We don't know how many you start, but let's Well, okay. Let's do this first at tight end. Drop it in Joker for Henry.
Yeah, I'm probably okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, might as well. All right, and then I guess at running back, let's pick your favorite two.
I guess Ramondre and Walker this week. It's tough to bench Brian Robinson after what he did last week against the Broncos, but I can't really bench Ramondre and Walker right now. So I'm going to go Ramondre and Walker at running back. You got to play Hill and CD at wide receiver. Those guys are like, you got to play them.
Like, actually, I'm going to go this week. I'm in on Gibbs, so I'm going to roll with Gibbs. I think this is a week where I can sit Ramondre. If I have a guy with a big upside like Gibbs, I'm going Gibbs and Walker. And then, of course, Hill and CD, there's no question there. If you need a third or a flex, who's your third receiver? Then you got DJ Moore, Cooper, Addison.
This is where it gets tough between Addison and Cooper. I love Addison this week, but man, Amari Cooper against the Titans?
Yeah, it's hard to see Cooper.
I can't.
Well, they both have smash spots.
They both have smash spots, but
But Cooper's the number one guy.
Yeah, I mean, just look at what teams have done to the Titans through 2 games through the air. It's embarrassing. I think even Deshaun Watson can't hold Cooper back from a big game this week. So I go Cooper at the flex. The matchup is just too good. It's too good.
Yeah, I would imagine you have at least a flex, if not a third receiver. So Hill, CD, Cooper in that order. If you somehow have 3 receivers and a flex, put Addison.
Yes.
And then this is also kind of already answered this. Bomber Boy, play Stevenson or Gibbs. You're going Stevenson. I'm
still
Gibbs.
going Stevenson. I like Gibbs this week, but my worry with Gibbs is he just has the same role. It's a good matchup, though. I mean, but I do worry that he just has the same role. And Craig Reynolds. It's like the second quarter and everybody's complaining about Craig Reynolds. Why is Craig Reynolds getting so many touches? Like as if we haven't seen Dan Campbell do this before.
I already know Craig Reynolds is probably going to out-touch Gibbs, but I think Gibbs can outproduce. And then again, it's because even though most weeks I feel like Ramondre's no doubt start, it's the Jets. I'll go for the upside. I'll go Gibbs this week. And then we got Marcos Alvarado. Rate my running backs and receivers. Mostert, Pierce, Gus, T, Pittman, Pickens.
Running backs, iffy. I know Mostert has come through for you, but Pierce, it's not really Pierce. I don't think Pierce is a bad running back, but that offensive line is an absolute mess right now. And the defense can't stop anybody, so they're just throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game. And Gus, I mean, okay, Gus is okay, but your running backs are very iffy. Your wide receivers are good. You got T. Higgins, who, contrary to what a lot of people think, is a stud wide receiver. Pittman looks very solid. Pickens, we know the upside. We saw the upside last night. So I like your wide receivers and not so much about your running backs.
I mean, if these are your top 3 best running backs, then it's a little dicey. I mean, Mostert is your number 1 guy now, apparently. I would still consider Pierce the 2. T is pretty much a wide receiver 1. Between Pittman and Pickens, it's close. I mean, I like Pickens, but yeah, I think your receivers are still pretty good. And then let's see, Kevin Trotter, also a member. What's up, Kevin? Had Chubb. Yeah, also Aaron Jones. But he's got James, Connor, AJ Dillon, Antonio Gibson, and Mostert. Do you keep what you got and wait for Jones to come back, or would you trade?
I mean, if you could trade Aaron Jones right now and maybe package him with a wide receiver and get a better running back, an upgraded running back, I would do it. But, I mean, like, when we say upgraded, like, okay, let's look at the running back landscape right now. You got CMC and Bijan. They're obviously, like, the 2 best. You got Eckler, who's not even healthy right now, but we know he's great when he's healthy. Then you got JT, who we can't see anytime before week 5. You got Saquon Barkley, who we might not see until week 5 or 6, and then we don't even know how effective he'll be. you got Derrick Henry, he's been fine, but I mean, vintage Derrick Henry is gone. We know this. We're not going to get 24 point per game Derrick Henry anymore. You got Tony Pollard, who looks like he could be good, and then you got like Etienne, Gibbs, Ramondre. Like, I mean, they're just like what like. Who is out? Like who could you actually get at running back right now? Because nobody's trading CMC or Bijan. It's like those guys are like, you got to rip these guys out of my cold dead hands or whatever. Like, who are you even able to get at running back anymore? Like, it's week 3 and it's already brutal at running back. It's already brutal.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones might be as good as any running back you might be able to get in the trade market at this point.
Maybe Jacobs is the one guy who you might be able to get right now.
Who is?
Jacobs.
Jacobs definitely a buy low. I mean, yeah, James Conner has looked good so far.
Right.
Maybe flip Jones or Conner. Throw in Gibson. Or say, hey, I got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. You can have the entire Packers backfield. So, somebody might be ready to get rid of Jacobs. You never know. So, yeah, I mean, you're not bad. Like, am I good? Well, you're not great, but you're.
Yeah.
I try to do that if you can definitely upgrade. I mean, look, maybe someone's going crazy for Mostert these days. You never know.
I mean, people are desperate at running back.
No, this is a good trade. Mike Altwheel traded Henry and Algier to get Chase and Stevenson, and that's the appropriate emoji.
Yeah, that's a fleece. That is a fleecing.
People love them some running backs like Tyler Algier. Good job, Mike. Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Well played, yes.
Muscle March Fitness needs to pick 3 receivers between Ayuk, London, Mike Williams, Addison, Devontae Smith, or T. Higgins. And you got some good choices.
I hope after last week we can stop with the T. Higgins overrated stuff. Like, you got to start T. Higgins. You got to start Devonta Smith. I will say, I mean, Mike Williams, he's in another fantastic spot this week against the Vikings in what should be an absolute shootout. I love Addison this week. I think IU could be good, but I don't know if he has the upside of these guys this week. I think for me, I'm going T, Devonta, and I think I still got to go Mike Williams over Addison just because he's in such a good spot too, but really close between those guys.
Yeah, you got so many players that it's hard to sit. I think you have to play Mike Williams with his matchup against the Vikings. Yeah. You have to. Devontae Smith, I'm never sitting. T. Higgins, I'm never sitting. So it's got to be those 3 guys. Even as much as we like Addison this week, you can't. And I don't feel like Ayuk's going to surpass any of those guys. So it's got to be.
What about his second question?
Yeah, it's got to be Williams.
Start one of those guys over
Superflex League. Oh, over Deshaun Watson.
Like, would you play Addison over Deshaun Watson this week?
Nah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson's still going to do something.
And it's Tennessee. If he can't come through this week against Tennessee, then if he doesn't come through this week against Tennessee, then you can start considering like one of these wide receivers over him.
Yeah, because even though he wasn't great last night, he at least did something. He put up some points.
Yeah.
You want to typically keep a quarterback unless it's like Desmond Ridder or, somebody like that. So, yeah, I would definitely go with Watson, the Superflex spot. And then we are being greeted by Lonnie the Great. Thank you, Lonnie. We do appreciate the super chat, by the way.
Yes.
So 12-team PPR. Watson, Pollard, Madison, Ford, Herbert. At wide receiver, got Waddle, DJ, Addison, Juju, and Cooks. Tight end, you got Mark, Andrews, and Laporta. Thinking of dropping Juju yes, do that.
Yeah.
Trading DJ Moore and something for Cousins.
I mean, you shouldn't need to trade DJ Moore and something else just to get Cousins. Like, no. I wouldn't even trade DJ Moore for Cousins. Look, I know you got Watson and Cousins has been great, but that's too much for our QB like Cousins, who somebody just probably grabbed off the waiver wire, got with their last pick. I mean, Yeah, that's too much for Cousins. I'm okay rolling Watson, or is Goff on your waiver wire this week? What about CJ Stroud? CJ Stroud has a great matchup this week too, and they're throwing the ball like 40 times a game. I mean, I'd rather just, if you don't want to start Watson this week, which again, he's playing Tennessee, I'm still starting Watson. I'm giving him one more chance against this Tennessee defense. But if you don't want to do it, I gotta think CJ Stroud is on the waiver wire. Has to be.
Yeah, I'm not going to trade DJ Moore just to get a quarterback. But again, this week, I know it's been frustrating, especially some of these guys have done nothing. It's only been 2 weeks, though. It's been 2 weeks. It's still early. It doesn't feel like it, but this is a spot you have to go with Watson. I'm not going to start very many quarterbacks over him. I know he hasn't been great, but this is the week he could put up numbers. I don't say look great, but I don't care if he looks great. Put up numbers. So definitely drop Juju for Josh Reynolds or anybody, but don't do that trade. Shane, Sylvia, PPR, Flowers, Nico, or Addison?
I like Flowers a lot this week too, and I like Nico this week.
I know.
Man. Flowers against the Colts, such a good matchup too. Such a good matchup. The Colts against wide receiver ones are just like, we talked about, okay, so last week, if you were on our live streams, we talked about Nico a lot. And the big reason why we like Nico is because the Colts play that cover 3, which is fantastic for teams wide receiver ones. Well, now Flowers gets Colts. And who got the Colts week 1, by the way? Do you remember?
Texans. No, that was last week.
No, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley got the Colts week 1. And he went off. So... right? It was Calvin Ridley, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So Calvin Ridley, huge game. Nico Collins, huge game. Zay Flowers probably going to have a huge game. I also think Addison's going to have a huge game. And I like Nico this week. I don't know. You can't really go wrong here. I mean, I guess slight edge to Flowers because he's the number one. He's got the slightest of edge to Flowers. But I mean, these are all great choices this week.
It's tough because they're all good choices. Last week, Nico would have been the choice. This week, I'm actually going to probably put him third out of these 3 just because I like the other 2 so much. But Flowers is my choice. I think you already said it why, right? He's going to have a huge game, I think. And then Happy, here's another, I don't know, is this a tough one? Addison or DJ Moore?
This one's not that tough for me. I mean, I still like DJ Moore. I still want to believe. I still believe it's got to get better. But when I have somebody like Addison who I feel great about, I'll just put DJ Moore on my bench. And if this is the week where they say, fine, let's let Fields just be Justin Fields and run around and make the defense have to respect the run, and then maybe that opens up the passing game, then I'll feel better about DJ Moore going forward. But since you have Addison, and I think he's going to be so great this week, I'll just roll with Addison this week.
Yeah, I'd say they both do have a pretty high ceiling, but I feel like the floor is lower for DJ Moore. So I'll go Addison. Caden, GB, 12-man PPR. Here's the roster. Najee, Brees, Dylan, Dalvin, and a Shane. Somebody dropped Swift after week 1. Good scoop. $500 FAAB. Oh, you didn't get him. I thought you were going to say you had Swift. So now he has to choose between Swift.
Okay, we had this exact debate in the Discord today because somehow one of our users had this exact choice. I'm curious, who do you prefer between these 2?
I'm going Swift. I'm going to go Swift. Now, here's though it's a very specific question. He's saying out of a $500 FAAB budget, how much do I drop? And I know I just finished saying, don't split the difference, go all in. I mean, you're definitely going to want to try to get, especially looking at your running backs. I mean, I hate to say it, but you definitely need one of those guys. So I don't know, man. You saw what Swift did. We know his ceiling. He's on the Eagles. I would prefer Swift. I would say how much to spend. Could probably go all in on one. Go 450 on Swift.
I was gonna say that's the easy part for me. You go all in. You just put a $500 claim on one and a $500. I would go all in. I go completely all in. Like I put a 500 on one, a 500 on the other. Put the one you like first, the one you like second. You know what I mean? That way, in case somebody else, because of course, if somebody else drops 500, but they have waiver priority over you, they're going to get that guy. So you don't want to you're like, well, Swift is my choice, so let me put 500 on Swift, and then somebody else puts 500 on Swift, but they had waiver priority, and then you don't get either. So I do it all for both. I mean, my buddy and I, we were like, look, Pierre and I pretty much only play in endgame leagues. We've been talking about Jerome Ford and DeAndre Swift all off season. I don't think they're on the waiver wire in any of our endgame leagues. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we're not even going to be able to get these guys. But in my home league, I have Ford on my bench, so I don't have to worry about it. And because nobody in my home league even knows who he is. And in another league I do with my buddy, he is on the waiver wire because it's a very shallow league. It's a super flex league, and we only have 5-man benches. So you really only have a 4-man bench because one of your benches is a QB. So you really only have like a 4-man bench. I said, forget it. We're dropping all of it. We're dropping all of it. Look, if you're in a league where DeAndre Swift is on your waiver wire still, chances are you could still. We got Nico Collins last week for $0 in that league. Nico Collins for $0. If you're in a league where Swift is still on your waiver wire in week 3, chances are you're going to be able to get guys for $0 that are good throughout the season. So in this, just drop it all. Just drop it all.
And like I said, especially you don't want to be starting Brees or Dalvin or Dylan. And even Najee has been rough. I mean, you need one of these guys. You do.
Yeah. I mean, if they said, hey, Aaron Jones' hamstring is actually like an ACL and he's going to miss the whole season, how good would you even feel starting Dylan every week?
Yeah. He didn't play last week and it didn't matter. So yeah, go all in.
Go all in.
And as far as who on both, either, I mean, it's your choice who you like better. I, can't predict who's going to be better for sure the rest of the season. So hopefully you get one.
Yeah.
Let's go to, which by the way, let's quickly here. Pete Alfaro. Let me talk him off the ledge here. Trading Waddle to get Josh Jacobs.
I mean, it's non-PPR. I do it. It's non-PPR.
Well, actually, yeah, it is non-PPR now that I see it.
I'm always gonna prefer the running back in non-PPR. I know Jacobs has been terrible, but he's getting the volume. He's going to get better. He's had 2 brutal matchups. He's such tough first matchups. In non-PPR, I'm taking Jacobs.
But, Jacobs we think should be a buy low right now. I mean, can you try to start lower? Like, don't trade Waddle. Trade somebody else and see what happens. And if not, you work your way up. I mean, I wouldn't want to trade Waddle, but yeah. All right, Aiden Ahern. Trade the Rams, Kyren and Nacua, and Pitts for Tyreek and Goddard. Oh, yeah.
I think you have to do this. Tyreek is just – it's just like
sorry. I don't think that Puka Nacua is going to outscore Tyreek this year. I don't.
No, and look, you're giving up Kyren. He could be like a solid running back rest of the season. But, I mean, Tyreek is going to be like just an absolute difference maker this year. Like, he's going to be one of the few guys that you look back on and say, okay, I drafted Tyreek or I had Tyreek Hill, and that's why I won my championship. So I think you have to do this. You have to get Tyreek.
Yes. Tyreek and Goddard, get them. Then you won't be regretting who you're putting at tight end every week. Gabriel.
Yeah, exactly.
Throwing crazy fab on forward. Good idea. Who do you drop, Kelly or Warren?
Definitely Kelly. I mean,
yep.
Once Eckler comes back, what are we expecting from Kelly? At least Warren's like kind of involved. He's catching passes. So I'm definitely dropping Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly's droppable. Looking to trade Sanders for AK or Taylor. Is Sanders enough for Taylor right now?
I mean, look, it depends how I think I wouldn't give up Taylor for Sanders. It's like I've waited this long for Taylor. I'm not giving up on him now, but you never know how people feel. They're 0-2. They might feel like I can't wait for Taylor to maybe not come back. So you could try it. Is it enough? Probably not. And I'm not trading for Alvin Kamara. I made that mistake last year. I'm not doing that again.
This is a follow-up, I think, to one from before. Michael was saying he has Chase, DJ Moore, Deontay, and Judy.
Was this the one where it was like Marquise Brown, Jacoby Myers?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you do need help at receiver, so.
Yeah, I would say we said drop all 3 of those guys for the 3 guys we said to pick up.
All right, Sabesan, 2-0.
Nice.
We'll take a little bit of credit. Rate my team: Stafford, Hill, Ridley, Bijan, James Cook, Andrews, White, CJ Pickens, Mooney, Everett, Moss, Jaden Reed, and Murray. Should I pick up anybody? I mean, obviously, if Ford's out there, try to pick him up, but
yeah. How crazy is it that we have 2-0 teams starting Matthew Stafford in 2023? Left for dead. He was completely left for dead last year. Just left for dead, right? Like, oh, he's done. It's over. And now teams are like, I'm 2-0 with Matthew Stafford. I mean, yeah, if Jerome Ford is on the waiver wire, I would be fine dropping. Who's your tight end? Andrews? I'd be fine dropping Everett. I'd be fine dropping Mooney. I'd be fine dropping Moss. I'd be fine dropping any of those guys. Probably prefer to drop Everett if I had to pick. But if Ford is out there, yeah, I would drop Everett for Ford, definitely.
I think you could drop Everett for. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say your team looks good. I assume it's super flex because of that CJ Stroud that I'm seeing there after White. Is that the CJ?
Yeah, I was wondering because it said CJ Stroud and he's got Murray on IR. I don't know if he needs it or it's just a backup quarterback, but I think that's fine. I mean, drop Everett for whoever the best running back is on the waiver wire. Don't know. Drop Mooney for whoever the best receiver is.
Yeah, or somehow Puka is still on your waiver wire, like some people.
You never know. Quinner BG. What's up? Need to upgrade desperately. Mahomes, Dotson, Puka, Mike Williams, Watson, CMC. But then there's P. Ryan. Sutton, Cup, Rashawn, Spears, Jones, Mingo, Musgrave. Maybe trade Williams for someone. Mike Williams. He said there's nothing on waivers.
I mean, you got CMC. And then your other running backs are P. Ryan, Rashawn, and Spears?
Exactly.
But I mean, CMC is almost like 2 running backs, isn't he?
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm going to say what I keep saying over and over. I am trading Puka right now if I can.
Yeah.
If you could trade, I mean, we've seen people that say they can get AJ Brown for Puka, they can get Stephon Diggs for Puka. I mean, can you get Tony Pollard for Puka right now? Why do I feel like you could probably get Tony Pollard for Puka?
You might. He's also 0-2, so desperate. Don't trade out of desperation. I mean, you can trade out of need. Sorry, I'll put this back up real quick. But yeah, bet on Cup coming back and filling that void. Bet on Watson coming back. You've had injuries. You'll be better. I think try to get a good RB for Puka. Maybe
that's the other thing. If I have Cup, I really like trading Puka.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if Cup comes back healthy, not only did you trade Puka, now you have the better Puka in Cooper Cup.
The better Puka. That's a good nickname. The better Puka. Like Puka was there first. He's like an upgrade,
right? Like that's how it seems. It seems like Cooper Cup's done now. He's done.
He's the OG Puka.
Career is over.
Yeah. Start one. Connor Sanders, Madison.
I actually think this week I'm going Madison.
Really?
It's a good. He's got the Chargers. It's such a good matchup. Sanders has
the Seahawks.
Seahawks. That's not terrible, but what is the
that
upside?
Offense is terrible.
Yeah, what is the upside for Sanders in this offense? And then Connor has a really bad matchup this week.
Cowboys.
Yeah. I'm going Madison.
So.
I'm going Madison this week. I won't say that very often, but I'll say it this week against Chargers.
Yeah, gut reaction says Connor, but matchup says Madison. But did you die? Kyle or Jacobs or London straight up?
I mean, if I can get Josh Jacobs for Drake London, as much as I like Drake London, I am taking Josh Jacobs. I mean, I had Josh Jacobs on the buy low video. I did not have Drake London on the buy low video.
The way it's phrased, I wonder if he's saying that he's getting London. That's the way I'm looking because he's saying one of these for London.
I mean, maybe I would trade Kyren Williams for London if I was like really stacked at running back and I was hurting a wide receiver, but I'm not trading Jacobs for London. No way.
Yeah, I'm not trading one of these running backs for London. You don't need to do that. Juan Saucedo, There's another Jacobs question. Jacobs for Brian Robinson and Waddle. If you're getting Robinson and Waddle, then that's a good trade for you.
Yeah, this is a time where I'm not taking Jacobs. If you're getting Brian Robinson and Waddle, that's good. Because Brian Robinson, look, you had to be impressed by last week against a tough Denver defense. Remember the same Denver defense that shut down Josh Jacobs in week 1. So, and you're getting Waddle. Yeah, I think if you're getting Robinson and Waddle, very good trade.
Again, why are people trading Jalen Waddle? I don't get it, but I do get it. And this is just a good question here. Run CMC run, I believe, is not Julio, right? From last year's Patreon. All right, so he's saying he's wanting to do super chats, but it's not available. I think I'm pretty sure he's in Mexico.
Well, what you can do is you can become a channel member. We've pulled up some. I think Jason and Kevin, right? I think we pulled up there.
And Mary Jo.
Chat, yeah, Mary Jo. Sorry, didn't mean to forget you, Mary Jo. If you look down below, it might be down below on this video, but if you look down below on any of our videos, you'll see a join button. It's only $5 a month. And if you want, there's some like emojis of Pierre and myself. If you want to throw them into a comment, you can throw them into a comment. I don't know how it works. YouTube does it. And we'll make sure when you come on the stream here, we'll see your name is a different color, and we'll definitely pull your comment up. It's only
exactly. You see the little symbol, then that means we'll pull it up there. All right, let's go to Demon Slayer, the best anime out there right now. 0-2, that's not good. Half PPR 10 team. Justin Herbert, Stevenson, White, Chase, Lamb. Yeah, Jamar Chase is kind of killing you, isn't he? Waller, Cooper on the bench. Why? Come on. I told you. You just he's like, yeah, look at what Daniel Jones last week. But you don't need him. You have Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Kirk and Pickens, I hope they weren't on your bench last week too. Because just imagine you had Chase in your starting lineup and you had Christian Kirk or George Pickens on your bench. That's painful.
I mean, but you're not going to start him over Chase and Lamb.
No, you have to start Chase, but I'm just saying it hurts.
It's just brutal. It's just bad luck, right? It's just bad luck. You've got like Kirk and Pickens going off in your. I mean, look, Lamb had an awesome game last week, but Chase not so much. So you're looking at your first round pick doing nothing while your bench guys are going off. That's always frustrating. But you have a good team. I mean, yes. you certainly could upgrade that RB2 spot. I like White, but
it's a 10-team half PPR league.
Oh, yeah, it's half, but also he's not a guy like it's going to be able to come through in tough matchups, probably. I mean, I think right now, if you could trade like Christian Kirk, who just came off a big game, and get another RB2 type, like maybe a Brian Robinson, maybe a Brian Robinson type, somebody like that, I would do it. Because you need some running back depth, and you need, like, Algier can't be your running back depth. That's not good enough.
And this is a 10-team league. I imagine you might have some waiver wire options. Hopefully Jerome Ford. If you can pick up Jerome Ford, do it. Check the video and see what your best options might be. Just drop Daniel Jones and pick up somebody at running back. Yeah, this is the time to sell high on the bench players, because this is not the time to trade away Jamar Chase out of frustration, because you're selling low. Just don't trade away Chase. Don't trade away Cooper, especially not this week. And of course, don't trade Lamb. Keep your good receivers. You have good receivers. Deal from strength. Trade away either Kirk or Pickens coming off huge games, and try to upgrade it at RB. And then whoever you don't trade, you still have a really good high upside receiver. So that's it. Yeah, you have really good players. I hate to say, but just bad luck.
Yep, you'll be fine. This team will come up.
Bishal Tamang lost Chubb and Monty. Help?
Yeah, try to get Jerome Ford. I don't know what to say. Like, injuries are the worst.
I just say, look, watch the waiver wire, watch the buy low trade option video. Depending on who else you have, can't say because we don't see your roster. But yeah, I try to buy on those guys like Josh Jacobs, Ramondre, the guys who are kind of underachieving so far. See what you can do there. But Tyler Havens, has Olave, and Kyren Williams. Would you trade them for AJ Brown and Tolly Pollard?
Oh, I think you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, can we really say Olave is going to be significantly better than AJ Brown rest of the season? Probably not. They're probably going to be pretty close. But I can pretty comfortably say Tony Pollard will be better than Kyren Williams. You got to take this. You got to take this.
I would definitely do this. Definitely. You get AJ Brown, Tony Pollard, do this. And then, we've had some comments about this. Hunt in talks with Cleveland. Would you pick him up?
No. How many teams did Hunt meet with in the offseason? Like 5? Including the Jets. He met with like the Vikings, the Jets, the Eagles, Colts.
4, at least 4.
At least 4, maybe 5 or 6. And somehow none of these teams. Look at the Colts. The Colts added running backs like, I don't even know some of these names of the. They added like, did they add somebody who like hadn't played in like 2 years? Like,
yeah.
I don't think Kareem Hunt is meeting with these teams and they're like, man, you're in fantastic shape. And he's like, yeah, give me $10 million. And they're like, okay, never mind. Like, my guess is their teams are looking at this guy and saying like, yeah, maybe he's not in the best shape or whatever. So I'm not picking up Kareem Hunt. I am not doing it.
All right. So to put this in perspective, we haven't got questions on this, but today Kenyon Drake did meet and I think is signing with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Okay, Kenyon Drake at one point was kind of good, and he played for Baltimore. It's the same thing. Like, I know Kareem Hunt was better when he was at his best, but they're kind of the same guy at this point. They are veterans that are only being brought back out of desperation for teams. They'll be okay once in a while, but no. All right, go back to that trade. Tyler says, if he gets AJ, then would you flip him to get the Sun God?
It's close. I mean, maybe. I don't know if Sun God is going to be like significantly better than AJ Brown this year. It feels like a very lateral move to me. Like, sure,
yeah.
if you want to.
Yeah, I would just say, sure, you can, but it's not really an upgrade necessarily.
Yeah.
Alexander's channel, we already kind of answered this. How much FAAB to put on Ford? The answer is,
I'm putting all. I mean, look, you got to know your league and you got to know how competitive it is and stuff. But like I said, I mean, how often do you get this chance? How often do you get a chance to get the starting running back in one of the best running offenses? Who's a good running back? It's not like, it's not like, oh, hey, next man up is like, yeah, Kenyon Drake. You know what I mean? Or it's like, no thanks. I don't care that it's the Browns. Like, no thanks. It's like, Ford's a good running back. He's young. He's got speed. We look at that 69-yard run. Like, okay, look at Breece Hall week 1. He had that long 83-yard run. Breece Hall pretty much just ran in a straight line through a huge hole, right? I mean, he made like a little slight move and then ran straight. If you watch that run last night for Jerome Ford, the run was designed to go to the right. The Steelers had it just completely bottled up. The dude planted his leg, cut back to the left, turned the corner, and turned what should have been a loss into a 69-yard gain. And then later in the game, I don't know if you were watching it in the fourth quarter after we were done filming, he had a run where it was like, looked like it was going to be a 7-yard loss. He turned it into a 10-yard gain. He's a good runner. He's going to be great in this offense. He just is. And the team likes him. The team obviously trusts him because, again, they were fine rolling with him as their only other running back this year. So I'm willing to put all of it on Ford. I just am.
And he's a good pass catcher. He will be used as a receiver. Maybe not a ton, but enough. Yeah. As much as it takes, I guess, is the answer. As much as you think it takes to get him. Tyler Sperry, would you start Love or Goff if Burrow doesn't go?
This week, definitely Goff. Don't love Love's matchup this week. Goff at home against the Falcons. I feel a big Goff game.
Yeah, going Goff also. Leoncio Dominguez, Fields or Love?
Well, I'm still going Fields here because, again, I don't love Love's matchup this week. I know he's got 3 touchdowns in back-to-back games, but he's not like throwing for huge yardage numbers, right? He's not throwing for like 300, 350 yards. So if he doesn't get those touchdowns this week, he's got a very low ceiling. I'll still go with Fields.
Yeah, in this case, I'm going Fields also. Could be an okay week for Love. Christopher Laborde always has the fire takes. He's going to play dangerously and starting
Oh,
Kendrick
wow.
Miller.
I mean, look, I hope Kendrick. I was high on Kendrick Miller. I would really like to see Kendrick Miller do something this year. So I hope it works out for you.
Although I will say not, call anyone out, especially our loyal viewers, but I think he called a huge Jerry Jeudy game last week. So
That is true.
maybe a week ahead of time. Maybe we'll see. Let's see. Okay, got another member. Anthony Cabrera also got a membership there. Thank you.
Nice.
Javonte or Madison?
I'm going Madison this week. It's the Chargers. He's in a way better matchup. We know he's going to get the run. He's going to catch some passes. Like Javonte is getting the run, but he looks like a guy coming off a brutal knee injury right now. It just doesn't look super explosive. Give me Madison.
Yeah, not really. And on Javonte, nothing he's shown has made me any more in than I was already, which was not at all. And then always my favorite time of the night when we get a visit from the Libertarian Sasquatch.
All right.
What is up?
Oh, yeah.
My
I like
favorite.
Nico, but I have to go Cooper. If I get burned by Cooper this week, fine. I get burned by Cooper. It's against the Titans. I mean, how do you bench Amari Cooper this week against the Titans? I can't do it.
You can't do it. You can't do it. Look, Nico's been better, but you have to look at the matchup. It's the Tennessee pass defense. It's a funnel defense. Yeah, I'm going Cooper. I'm going Cooper. Juice 420 is back. Rate this lineup for week 3, 14 team. T-Law, CMC, Kyren, Diggs, Sun God, Hunter Henry, Addison, or Waddle. Saints and honestly, I don't even know that kicker.
There's a kicker with B. Aubrey, like for real? That's a kicker. I legit I've never even heard of that guy. But I don't know. I know like Justin Tucker, Jake Elliott, right, for the Eagles. Do the Chiefs still have that guy Butker or whatever? Do they still have that guy?
They do.
And then there's Koo for the Falcons. I guess I now know there's 2 Carlsons, and I guess there's a Maher. I guess there's a Maher, and I guess there's a B. Aubrey. So I now know like 8 kickers. That's pretty good. Rate this team. I think for a 14-team league, this is great. You got CMC.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how in a 14-teamer did you get CMC, Diggs, Sun God, and Waddle? How did you do that in a 14? You can't even do that in a 12-teamer. How'd you do that in a 14-teamer? This team is fantastic.
Yeah. And this is why, you're not always guaranteed to get that guy off waivers, but this is why we say if there's a spot to be weak at, it's RB2. Well, guess why? Because you can pick up and plug in a guy like Kyren Williams, and all those running backs that are hurt or busted or just, you don't want to play, don't matter to you because you just have a plug-and-play guy.
Look at all the great RB2 weeks you've already had from guys off waivers like Kyren Williams, Zach Moss, Jerome Ford now. I mean, probably other guys I can't even think of. I mean, yeah, it's only week 3.
Exactly. All right, great. Yeah, that's a great lineup. Seamless. Najee, Javonte, or Connor. Start 2.
Oh, I mean, Najee. It's the Raiders. How can I bench Najee this week? Even Latavius Murray and Damian Harris scored touchdowns against the Raiders. I think I got to go Najee and Connor this week. I don't feel any better about Javonte than I do Najee, and Najee at least is getting the Raiders, so I'm going Najee and Connor.
Try Najee one more week. Again, I don't think it's not him, not personally him. It's clearly a something wrong with the system there. It's just the offense. It's not Najee. People like to pick on him, and I don't know why. But go Najee, go Connor. Yes, I agree. Tris has a super chat and a question. Would you start Hollywood or Jerome Ford in the flex?
I think I still got to go Jerome Ford. I mean, Hollywood in a tough spot this week against the Cowboys. Can't feel good about that. Cannot feel good about it. At least Ford, we know, will get the work. It's also a tough spot, but he'll get the work. So give me Ford.
Yeah. Still doubting the Cardinals offense. But yeah, I'll roll with Ford. Also, would you grab Laporta for Muth?
We're getting this question a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Muth one more week. If you want to grab Laporta and put him on your bench so you don't miss out in case Muth is terrible again, I'm okay with that, assuming you have room. But Muth gets the Raiders this week. If he doesn't come through this week, then yeah, we're in full-fledged Muth panic mode.
Yes. Roll with Muth one more week. If he disappoints again, Steelers look the same, then you can drop or at least bench or drop until Canada's canned.
Yeah, which
really hope that happens, by the way.
man.
Another Ford question and a Najee question rolled into one. Matt K says, would you start Ford over Najee?
It's almost like, well, I don't know, like it's like the fantasy gods take away because they take Chubb, then they give you Ford, but then they take him away too because it's Tennessee, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to start him this week. I just spent all my FAAB, and I really don't feel good starting him this week. I think I still got to go Najee this week against the Raiders. Maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment, but the Raiders are so bad on defense, so bad. If they can't get it going against the Raiders, if Najee can't find the end zone this week against the Raiders, it's just such a brutal matchup for Ford this week. So bad against Tennessee.
I know. That's the thing. We had extremes here. Because think about the Raiders last week. It was Buffalo. James Cook ran for, 123? And Latavius Murray and Damian Harris both got some yardage and scored a touchdown. I mean, they're statistically, and in 2 games, sure, whatever. They're statistically, I think, the worst run defense right now, or at least one of the worst.
Yep.
I think I'm going Najee too. And then, like I said, roll with the Steelers. And after this week, they bust again, kick yourself, and then just don't do it. Rough times, speaking of the Steelers. 10-team, 4 keepers, 2 receivers, and a flex. Okay, lots of names there. Don't want to drop Chubb. Oh, because he has 4 keepers. But will I keep?
You're not going to keep Chubb next year. Look, I hope that Chubb can make a full recovery at some point. But we're talking about what's going to be a 29-year-old wide or running back who's going to come off a devastating knee injury. This isn't even like, because all reports is that it's a multi-ligament tendon tear. They had to take him to the hospital to make sure there weren't like any arteries or things like that where they'd have to do like emergency surgery to save his leg. This is a devastating knee injury. It really is, which is why I feel bad for Nick Chubb. This could legit be a career-changing injury for Nick Chubb. Like, look, when he's ready, there will be a team that will take a chance, and then maybe it'll be the Browns because he was such a good runner before. But I doubt we ever see Nick Chubb be anything close to what he was again. This isn't like a young running back like Brees or Javonte who has time to come back. Like, talking about a guy who is already, probably had already had his best years behind him, and now this. You're not going to keep Nick Chubb next year. You're not. So even in a keeper league, I will drop Nick Chubb.
I think with the players you have there, you can drop Chubb.
Yeah, you're not going to keep him.
And pick up Nico. That's the guy you want to pick up.
Yeah, because you might keep Nico next year. For sure. You for sure might keep Nico next year.
You only have 4 keepers here. I think you can definitely get away with dropping Chubb because you have enough keepers there that are worth holding on to. So you won't regret it, I don't think.
Hurts. You'll probably want to keep Brees Hall next year. A.J. Brown, London, Addison. If you grab Nico, you're not going to keep Chubb next year. You're just not.
Vishal Tamang got Lamar, Chubb, Monty. Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. Diggs, DK, Pickens, Pat, Bench, McKinnon, Rashawn Johnson, Marquise Brown. wire pickups. Like, okay, so like you're saving space for somebody. Well, you can drop McKinnon.
Yeah, you can drop McKinnon. I mean, obviously Ford. Look, Tony Jones, if you just are desperate this week, has a pretty good matchup. Williams will probably be out. Maybe Kendrick Miller will be more involved. I don't love Tony Jones, but I mean, at least he has a good matchup. Maybe Breida doesn't have a great matchup this week, but going forward for a couple weeks. Yeah, those are the guys. But yeah, good luck. Good luck. That's just brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah, without knowing who's available. Again, Ford's out there. Go all in on him. I try to pick up some of those other guys you mentioned. So also a good time to mention that, the waiver wire video goes out right away Monday morning, but also beat the breakout, some stashes, early waiver wire pickups, some speculative ads that comes out later in the week. So if you're desperate, those are also some guys you can consider. So good luck. Then Mike Altwheel again, my running back after trading Henry, Jacobs, Stevenson, Cook, and Kyren. Okay, not bad. Start 2.
I mean, that's a running back room that makes a lot of people jealous right now.
No kidding.
I'm still going Henry and Jacobs. I mean,
yeah. The question here is Jacobs. Do you go with him? That's the question.
I think you still have to. I mean, who are you starting Stevenson over him this week against the Jets? You're starting James Cook over him this week, who probably won't score a touchdown and he has an okay matchup, but not as good as last week.
Yeah.
I mean, are you really starting Kyren Williams over him? I don't think I can yet. I don't think I can. I'm still going Henry and Jacobs.
I mean, Henry, no doubt. Yeah, it's just Jacobs. Do we expect better Jacobs? He's got to be better, doesn't he?
Got to be better. It's not like he's not getting the work. It's not like he's
no.
Yeah, if it's me, I'm still starting Henry and Jacobs.
Because with Stevenson and Cook, it's not great matchups for him. I mean, if you're just sick of Jacobs or you think Kyren Williams will do well, you could roll with him, but probably should go Jacobs. And then Ridley or Flowers or Addison in the flex because he's got Chase and Brown.
I think you still got, as much as I like Addison and Flowers this week, I think you still got to go Ridley. I mean,
yeah,
are we worried? Are we worried about Ridley this week? No. Against Houston? No. I think this will be a big Ridley game this week. You got to go Ridley still.
Yeah, I love all 3 of these guys this week. You can't say Ridley, so definitely Ridley. That's an easy one. Dispatcher 15 traded Puka and Rashad White for Josh Jacobs and Mike Williams. Win?
Nice. I mean, that's good because I'm not even convinced Puka will outscore Mike Williams the rest of the season when Cup comes back. I mean, really. And I like Rashad White, but come on, give me Jacobs. Give me Jacobs here for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing this. And good news, he's got the better Puka on IR waiting.
I love that. If you have Puka and Cup, I love this move. Like, again, I'm gonna say, if Cooper Kupp was healthy right now, he would be the number 1 fantasy scorer without a doubt right now. Not even a question in my mind. Not even a question. He would be way ahead of everybody right now because look at what the Rams are doing. Look at what Puka is doing. Puka is not even close to as good as Cooper Kupp in real life. Yeah, I love this because now you get Kupp coming back and basically you get a better Puka. Plus you get Jacobs and Mike Williams. Well done. Well done.
And you get about 20 more comments saying you're a Puka hater because you just said he's way inferior. Well, the better Puka. All right, this is a big dub. Big dub. All right, Ali with another one. Who would you drop for Jaylen Warren? Because we said to do that. I mean, probably, is Cook droppable?
Yeah, he probably is, honestly. He looks terrible. He looks just terrible. And now the Patriots, I mean, yeah, I probably drop Dalvin Cook. He looks awful.
I mean, I don't think you have to hold on to Charbonnet right now, but it looks like he at least has more potential than Dalvin Cook. So I think you can drop Cook. Yeah.
Yeah, or Charbonnet. Even though I like Charbonnet long term, I mean, what's the path for Cook long term? If anything, Brees is just going to get healthier and healthier, and it's just going to make Cook's value go down even more.
Exactly. And Anthony with a super sticker. Thank you. You already remember you didn't need to do that, but I don't see a question or comment. So I'll look. We find one. We'll get to it, but let's keep going. Jeremiah. He's 1-1, 10-team non-PPR. Got Watson, Eckler, Mostert, Waddle, Amari, Ford, Andrews. On the bench, Richardson, Brees, Pickens, Collins, Madison, Dalvin, Hunter, Henry. Nico?
Nick Chubb, which is
Nick
good. Look, yeah, I like seeing these teams that already have Jerome Ford. I mean, I like that people are thinking this way because that's what I did in my home league last week. I had a spot on my bench because I have JT in IR, and then I had Watson was out again, so I put him to IR. So I was like, well, let me just go grab a handcuff running back. And it just happened to be Jerome Ford, just because, I don't know, there wasn't really anybody I liked better, to be honest. Not sitting here saying, like, look at how smart I am, because I got, obviously I did not predict a Nick Chubb injury. But that's the kind of moves you should be making, right? That's why I'm saying you should be adding guys like Tyjae Spears right now if you can, because if Derrick Henry goes out, you don't have to fight for him on the waiver wire because he's already sitting on your bench. So I like seeing these teams that already have Ford. Not that I wish Nick Chubb was still playing, but it's good to see people thinking this way. So anyways, as far as moves, trades, I mean, you got Ford, so you don't have to make that move. That's nice. Collins, Madison, I mean, you could drop Dalvin for somebody. You don't need Hunter Henry when you have Andrews. You can drop him for somebody if there's anybody good on waivers. It's a 10-team league. You should be able to find a tight end during Andrews' bye. I don't really see anything else. You got Collins, you got Pickens. I like your bench. Just Dalvin and Hunter Henry, drop them for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, Eckler should be back hopefully soon. Mostert looks like a really good, every week starter for now. Don't love the running back depth, but, Ford should fill the void for now. So I think you're okay there. You're okay. No, I don't see any obvious like sell high candidates or anything like that, and no big holes. So, all right, then let's go back to Sabesan wants to follow up. He has CJ Stroud because it's super flex. Okay, so that's a good hold. FAAB for Ford in a super flex league. Is it different?
No, it's not different. I mean, what there's not going to be a quarterback that's going to show up on waiver wire. Like there's no situation where if like a starting quarterback got hurt, you're going to drop all your FAAB for the backup, because the backups are generally pretty bad, and you don't, they're worth grabbing in super flex if you need a quarterback, but they're not like, you're not going to drop all your FAAB. Like if Baker Mayfield gets hurt, are you dropping all your FAAB for Kyle Trask? No. You know what I mean? Like, no. So, like even this week, like Anthony Richardson might be out. Nobody's dropping all their, even if Anthony Richardson was out for the season, nobody's dropping all their FAAB for Gardner Minshew, I hope. I'm still willing to drop it all for Ford. Your league. Maybe you're like, hey, my guys don't even look at the waiver wire. Then fine, don't drop all your FAAB, right? If you have one of these leagues where like Puka is still on your waiver wire, you probably don't need to drop all your FAAB for Jerome Ford. But look, you don't need Gerald Everett in case Andrews doesn't play. He wouldn't even be my top pick off the waiver wire for tight end if Andrews didn't play. Like you don't need Everett. You still don't need Everett. And yes, I really do think Taylor is going to play for the Colts, because the only way apparently they're going to trade him is if somebody gives Jim Irsay their stud 24-year-old wide receiver, which no NFL team is going to do. So he's going to have to play for the Colts, I think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, he's going to play somewhere. I don't think it really matters. If it's not the Colts, then even better. But you don't need Everett. Look, there's tight ends that are out there that I guarantee nobody's picking up that I like better than Everett.
Yes.
This weekend going forward. So don't worry about that. Demon Slayer, back Ford and Warren are on waivers. Got second priority. I wish it was first.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ford is number one. Warren is number two. Look, hey, maybe you're lucky. Maybe the guy, whoever has the number one priority in your league, is one of those guys who just doesn't check the waiver wire. And that's why he has number one priority, because he never makes a move. And then you can get Ford. But Ford is one, Warren is two.
Yeah, and I say this also, don't assume, well, I'm not going to get him. You don't know. You don't know if that guy doesn't believe in Jerome Ford. Oh, they're going to sign Kareem Hunt. Why would I want Jerome Ford?
Exactly.
You don't know that. People think that way, or like the guy didn't pay attention and put a claim in before Wednesday. Always go for it. Try, be aggressive. Hopefully it turns out. And then Alexander Courtney, no question, just saying keep up the good work. All right.
We already helped you win your league, or last year, maybe last year.
Probably last year. Don't count your chickens before they're hatching this year. All right. Daniel Chavez, Kelly or Warren or Ford?
Well, it's Ford, then it's Warren, then it's Kelly, I guess, if you really need him in that order. And yeah, you can drop Akers for Ford.
Definitely Ford. Yeah. Last week was the week to pick up Kelly and not start him. So we got David Aguilar was offered a trade. I get AJ Brown and Kyren Williams. Give up Eckler and Addison.
No. Eckler way better than Kyren Williams when he's healthy. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say Addison is going to be as good as AJ Brown because he's not. But I don't think the difference between AJ Brown and Addison is enough to make up for the huge difference between Eckler and Kyren Williams.
This is what, the fourth or fifth AJ Brown trade question we've had. Remember after week one, everybody wanted to trade Justin Jefferson. And now everyone's, why are people trading AJ Brown?
Because Devonta Smith has been better through 2 weeks. And now people think like, oh, it's Devonta Smith is the one. And AJ Brown's going to be terrible. Even though AJ Brown, caught a touchdown. And the only reason it didn't count is because Rashad Penny, who was only in the game because I think DeAndre Swift had an issue with his helmet or his shoe. That was the only reason why Penny was even in the game instead of DeAndre Swift. And it just so happened that's when he caught the touchdown and Rashad Penny had the hold. And then he had that other touchdown where the DB literally like tackled him before the ball got there and they didn't call DPI. If he catches those 2 touchdowns, no one is trading AJ Brown right now. No one's worried about it. He's going to be fine. He's a great buy low right now. He's a fantastic buy low right now, as you can see.
Yeah, it never fails to amaze me, but also crack me up. AJ Brown is now a sell. Yeah. All right. Chris saying, "Oh, I did, but yeah, you did." Oh, look, we're all, I've made plenty of calls that haven't come.
We both said don't play Brian Robinson or Puka last week, so it's not like we get them all right either.
Yeah, we only remember the good calls that we make, right?
Yes.
Let's see. But then there's Nate to hold us accountable because he apparently screen captures everything we say and do.
It's crazy, right? It's like, hey, Nate, find this thing this guy said 2 months ago, and like 3 seconds later, there it is. It's like, do you have like a folder somewhere with all that you just know we're gonna ask for it?
I'm wondering, maybe Nate isn't a real human. Maybe he's like a supercomputer that has like an AI.
Is Nate a bot?
He's a bot. All right. We love you, Nate. Anthony, here's a question. DK or Michael Thomas?
Oh, definitely DK. I mean, look, I will freely admit that Michael Thomas actually looks somewhat decent right now, and he's still healthy. But it's always DK. Always DK.
I mean, it happened that Lockett was the one who scored twice last week, but Metcalf is always capable of a big game. Still is fine. JSN is not eating into any of the target share for either of those 2 receivers right now. So it's DK. It's DK. What about Mr. Holmes, 2044? Sky Moore or Tyler Algier for the last flex?
I mean, if it's PPR, give me Sky Moore. The Bijan takeover has already happened. I know you're going to look and you say, but Algier had 16 carries. You're right. He did. That's because the Falcons ran like 75 or some crazy amount of snaps. But Bijan played 72% of them. So what happens when the Falcons, aren't snapping the ball 75 times and they're not, able to just run the ball as much as they want? Not going to be a lot there for Tyler Algier. I mean, give me Sky Moore.
Tyler Algier was a strong sell high candidate after week 1. He still has some value, but take a shot on Sky Moore. I mean, it's the Bears, right? Yeah, go Sky Moore. Nestor, my Puka for Walker or Stevenson because he lost Chubb.
All right, now I'm going to be honest. This is where it gets close for me.
Well, I guess actually he lost Chubb, I think, and Barkley. That's what he was trying to say. So,
I mean, look, you lost both those guys. You need a running back. I still prefer Stevenson. I know people are still like really high on Walker. We're getting comments like, why isn't Walker in the must start running back? Like, because he scored 2 touchdowns and did nothing else. Like, I mean, okay, are we going to put like Jaden Reed in the must start because he did score 2 touchdowns and did nothing else? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, look, Walker's a good running back, but he doesn't catch passes. He's very touchdown dependent. He's very big play dependent. That's not a guy that I feel like I have to start every week. I like Walker. So, I mean, I guess if you can get Stevenson, I do it. This is where it gets close for me with Puka, to be honest. Like, this is where I start to think, what if? Like, what if Cup comes back and then does re-aggravate the hamstring and isn't healthy? Like, it's a CMC year. This is where it starts to get close for me. So, but I think because you lost Chubb and Barkley, you need
something.
Yeah, you have to. You almost have to for your team.
Yeah, you hate to trade out of desperation, but again, if Puka's on your bench and you're rolling out guys like Sean Tucker or Savon Ahmed in your lineup at running back, like no. I think you can do this. I would go Stevenson too, just the higher PPR value because I'm still big on Ramondre. I think Ramondre will be fine. Python, T-Law, Tua, or Watson?
I think I still got to go T-Law this week. It's a great matchup against Houston. I mean, if he doesn't come through this week against Houston, I guess then we're starting to panic on him. I'm going T-Law. It's just too good of a spot. I mean, I know it's a good spot for Watson, but I mean, I still have trust issues with Watson.
Yeah, I mean, for matchup sake, it's T-Law or Watson. I think I'll lean T-Law also. All right. Traded Devontae for Chase.
Huge win. Look, I like Devonta a lot, but come on. You got Jamar Chase? You got Jamar Chase for Devonta Smith? Like, this is what happens. Like, people, well, Devonta Smith's been better than Chase, so give me Devonta Smith. I mean, look, unless Jamar Chase ends up being one of the biggest fantasy busts we've ever seen, like non-injury busts. Because we've seen busts like CMC, but that was injuries. We saw busts last year with JT. That was probably injury. Like, Jamar Chase would have to be the biggest non-injury bust we've ever seen for this not to be a win for you.
Yeah, I'm still buying Chase. I mean, I like Devontae Smith a lot, but yeah, I'm still taking Chase. He says you got Sungan Ridley. You're pretty stacked at receiver. I mean, yeah, I still think this is a win for you, Julio. So very nice. Brian, our guy.
What's up, Brian?
30% FAAB.
Yes.
Is that too high for Cousins because he has Fields?
Yes. I mean, if you like were telling me like I keep streaming quarterback and it's awful and Cousins, I'm just going to start Cousins every week for the rest of the season, maybe I could get behind. This. But what are you going to do if you drop 30% of your FAAB on Cousins and then Fields goes out there this week and runs for 75 yards and a touchdown and looks great? And you're like, oh, I could have just kept Fields for $0. And instead I spent 30% of my FAAB on a quarterback. Nah, too much for a quarterback. You could just stream quarterback. And you say you're playing against the AR-15 owner this week. AR-15 might not even play. Oh, he wants to block? I mean, okay.
It sounds strategy, but you're going to spend a third of your budget just for the chance to block one player on the roster for 1 week. I mean, you're going to feel bad if that happens and you lose anyways, or you know what I mean? It's just, nah. I like the thinking. I like thinking ahead, right? The strategy is sound, but it's way too much. I mean, how much?
Yeah, if you want to
Less than
drop
10?
drop less than 10 if you really want to do it. If your opponent's willing to drop more than 10% of his FAAB just to get Kirk Cousins for potentially 1 week of no AR, that's a win for you, honestly. That's a long-term win for you. Even if you lose this week, it's a long-term win because now that guy has less FAAB when he's going to need it, when he's going to really need it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Historius traded Stevenson and Nico for Brown. Hopefully it's AJ Brown.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume it's AJ Brown. I think this is fair. I don't think this is like if somehow you don't need Stevenson. Like, who was that we had that comment a few comments ago where they had like Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson, Rachaad White, Kyren Williams. Like, they had this ridiculous running back room. If you have like that kind of room where it's like, yeah, I can part with Stevenson, then I think it's an okay trade. I think it's fair. I don't think it's this seems pretty fair.
Yeah, I think this is fine. It could be a win-win depending on your running back room and roster. And you gave up good players. Not a bad decision at all. I don't think so. This was a good decision. Julio became a member. Finally figured it out. Thank you. And there he is. Let's see if he runs.
All right.
I don't know, honestly. And Mike's asking how he joined. We're not on that end of it, so I honestly don't know. There's probably a little button you said.
Yeah, there's a little button. It should be under all our videos. It just says join. I don't know. It's through YouTube, so I don't know like what you have to do. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Slayton, 12-team PPR got Daniel Jones and Jordan Love. Interesting. Bijan, K9, Rashad, Rashawn, Keenan, Watson, Sky Pickens, and Kelsey. Would you trade away Sky, Love, Rashawn, and Rashad?
Yes.
For Herbert and Higgins?
Yeah, because I mean, you're trading away like a bench wide receiver, a bench running back, a quarterback that you now don't need because you're going to have, I'm assuming that's Justin Herbert, since you're trading a quarterback. So you're not going to need that quarterback that you just traded away anymore. And then you're trading Rashad, basically, and then you're trading like a bench wide receiver, a bench running back, and a QB you don't need for a really good QB. And then you're trading Rachaad White for Higgins, which is a huge upgrade. So yeah, definitely do this.
I'm trying to wrap my head. If it's Justin Herbert and T. Higgins, someone's giving up an elite quarterback and a top receiver for a bunch of bench players, basically. Like, yeah, I'll take your backups for my studs. Like,
well, here's what you don't know, Pierre. Justin Herbert is not a stud QB. Have you seen his fantasy game so far? And T. Higgins is the most overrated player in fantasy. This is what you're missing. This is what you're missing.
I mean, he didn't even score anything in week 1, so you're right. He's kind of a bust. Oh man, like what? Okay, if you're doing this, do it right now. I mean, I'm declaring the W right now if you do this trade. So, yeah,
big W.
Do that, Slayton, and enjoy the upgrade on your team. Smokey DeBurr is in the house. Smokey's got a 12-team half PPR running back. James Cook, Monty, Charbonnet traded JT for Kyren. What do you think?
Well, I mean, if you really need a running back like right now, which I guess you do because you got James Cook and then Charbonnet and you don't have Monty, I guess it's okay. But I mean, look, we've seen this before. You know what? I'll give you a perfect example of when we've seen this before. Do you remember when Cam Akers tore his Achilles? I'm sure you do.
I do.
And Darrell Henderson was the next man up. And everybody was like, he's not even very good. But then Darrell Henderson had a great season. He was playing really well. But then as the season went on, he started to not play so well. And then eventually, I think he got – well, then eventually like Cam Akers – well, I think he got replaced. Or then Cam Akers came back. But like we've seen this before with running backs like Kyren who aren't necessarily built to be workhorse running backs. And look, the Rams are they're giving this guy like every touch. So I'd still prefer JT over the course of the season. We know JT can be a workhorse running back. But you do need a running back right now. So I wouldn't say you got completely fleeced, but I would have preferred the JT side.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give up JT to get Kyren. I mean, I think he'll be okay. We'll see. It's way too early to call this to say win or loss. I mean, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen with JT. So hopefully it turns out well. What about Trevor or Love this week? It's got to be Trevor.
Got to be Trevor. Better matchup. Probably a better quarterback. I mean, he's a better quarterback. Let's be real.
Yeah. What's up, Rise? Sanders or White?
Man, White's in a tough spot this week against that Eagles run defense. The Eagles pass defense has been terrible, but they're still very. Remember last week I was saying don't start Alexander Madison against the Eagles. I guess Sanders this week. I just that matchup for Rashad White is so brutal, and like what do you bank? You're just banking on some dump offs, right? You're just banking on some dump offs. And the thing is, against the Eagles, you might not need to because the secondary is not very good right now. So they're both volume guys. I guess I go slight edge Sanders.
Yeah, just worry that they're going to abandon the run or have to abandon the run early. If White was getting heavy volume as a receiver, that'd be different. I mean, he did catch some passes last week, but not enough to give him tremendous value. So Sanders, I mean, that offense, it's not him. It's just the offense as a whole. I guess I would go Sanders, though, also. And then Sebastian with another one. He's saying, if I don't get Ford, I see Tank and Spears available.
I mean, they're both good guys to have on your bench for sure. Because look, a Tank isn't getting the usage that Spears is getting, but we know if Etienne goes down, he's next man up. But I think Spears is the priority add right now because he's actually getting third down snaps. He's getting catches. He's even getting some early down carries, and he looks good when he carries the ball. So I like Tank too. I definitely think Tank is worth the stash, but between these two, I prefer Spears right now.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Spears. Tank has not really gotten the usage, but also Jaguars have just not really been good at running the ball yet. Well, they haven't really been that great at anything, but I think it's Spears. If you don't get Ford, hopefully you get Ford. Big Luscious, what is up? Do you think Pittman or Nico has better upside this week and rest of the season?
Definitely Nico this week. Pittman, A, has Gardner Minshew, and B, has the Ravens in Baltimore, right? They're in Baltimore, I think. Yeah. So you can't feel great about that. Definitely Nico this week. Rest of the season, I mean, I don't think I'm ready to say Nico's going to be better than Pittman rest of the season yet. Look, Pittman, Anthony Richardson, the worry with Pittman was, can Anthony Richardson get him the ball? That has not been an issue so far. So I think I still have to go Pittman over Nico rest of the season.
Yeah, this week because of matchup, Nico, a little bit tougher. I mean, I don't know, though. If it's Minshew, like if Richardson's ruled out, if it's Minshew, you're still going Pittman?
This week, Nico for sure. Nico this week for sure.
Yeah, this week go Nico. But rest of the season, you're saying Pittman.
I still like Pittman rest of the season because, again, the only worry for Pittman was, can Anthony Richardson get him the ball? And that hasn't been an issue so far. And look, Anthony Richardson's turning this into a real offense because of what he can do with his legs, and even his passing has been good. So even though I like Nico a lot, I still have to give Pittman the edge rest of the season. But this week, it's definitely Nico. Definitely Nico this week.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and then Cronus trades Sanders for Jalen Hyatt. I don't think so. No. Here's the roster in case that helps.
No, it doesn't even. I mean, is this Emmanuel Sanders then maybe? But it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, okay, he had 2 catches for 89 yards, but like, no. Give me Sanders.
Yeah. We even talked about when we talked, our wide receivers, Giants. Is there a single Giants receiver you really want in your lineup at any week? There might once in a while be, a game or flash. No, I mean, he got yardage, but what was it, 2 catches? That's how it's going to be with him.
Yeah.
Ultimate boomer bust. And then go back to Slayton. It is Justin Herbert. Really hopes that they don't veto it because the other guy took it.
Nice.
Man.
Oh, man. Don't get me on
I hope they don't veto it. Vetoes, by the way, I'm not going to go on a rant about this. There should not be vetoes. You agree with that?
Yeah, don't get us on a veto rant.
No. All right. Nathan with super chat. Thank you. Let's see if we have a question following it. I'm sure we do, but we'll see if we can get to that. And in the meanwhile, we have a couple of others. So Nathan, I see it. Never mind. He's saying, well, okay, he has 3 different questions. Let's start with this one. 12-man PPR, 2 flex. Starters are Tua, Ramondre, Kyren, AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, Darren Waller, Keenan, Olave. That's pretty good. Bench, he's got Brees, Gus, Hill, Rashid,
Puka on the bench.
I mean, yeah, are we benching Olave or Keenan or AJ? But you have to have Puka on the bench, I guess. All right, what do you think?
So, yeah, because you got AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Chris Olave. Well, I'm gonna say what I keep saying. Trade Puka.
Yep.
You have 4 awesome wide receivers. Like, this is a great time to trade Puka. Go get. I mean, look, I like Ramondre. Kyren's nice, but you could trade. Look at some of the trades people have said they can get Puka for. Like, people they can get Puka for. Go trade Puka. Get a running back. Package Puka and Kyren, and you could probably get like Tony Pollard and I don't know, DJ Moore back or something like that. So you can have a decent wide receiver and you can upgrade your running back.
Yeah, and then he also followed up asking, is Kyren good rest of season? I mean, wish we knew the answer to that. But look, if you're trading Puka, try to get a solid running back in exchange, right?
Yeah, it's too early to say that. It's too early to say here. Oh, yeah, Kyren really is going to be great rest of the season. We're talking about a guy, like, I don't really feel like he's built for a workhorse role. Maybe he can do it. We'll see. Also, I really wonder, like, do the Rams just go the rest of the season with just Puka and just Kyren Williams and Royce Freeman as their only running backs for the rest of the season? They're like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we got Kyren and Royce Freeman. We're good. Like, I got to think they got to bring in like another body or something, right? So, but yeah, like, this is a great time. This is a great time to sell high on Puka and Kyren, honestly.
Oh, there you go. You could package the Rams and try to get an upgrade at running back. That might be a good idea. Or maybe this is a time to try to buy low on JT, and then that might help you out in the long run. I mean, we'll see. See what you can do. Ramu with another one. 12-team, full PPR, needs 2 running backs. One of the Jay Williams, don't know who it is. Algier, Mostert, Madison, Spears, Warren, Ford. I'm probably going to just say no to Williams anyways. No to Algier. You can't start Spears.
I think it's Madison and Mostert this week.
Yeah,
Mostert right now looks like you don't even really worry about the matchup because teams are just so scared of those wide receivers that, like, they're just like, go ahead, run for a 30-yard touchdown. We'd rather have that than like Tyreek Hill getting behind us. And Madison's in a good spot against the Chargers. Going forward, it's going to be Ford. Like, so don't worry about Ford. Like, it's just such a tough matchup this week against Tennessee. But after the look, he might come through this week because that offensive line is good enough that he might still come through. But I think when you have Mostert and Madison, I'm just going to roll with those guys.
Yeah, my debate's between Madison and Ford because Madison hasn't looked good, and the Vikings just aren't running the ball. I know the Chargers defense, it's a good defense to run against, but maybe they won't even bother to run the ball like they did against the Eagles. They're just like, we're just going to throw it 50 times again. So, but at Ford, it's the wrong week for him to face the Titans. That's the problem. So, I mean, it's tough because you're deciding between what you think is more important: volume, which should favor Ford for sure, or matchup, which favors Madison for sure. So I feel like Madison has a better chance at a touchdown. I guess based on these running backs, I don't know. These are your starting running backs. If these are your 2 starting running backs, you might as well shoot for upside. Go for Madison. I'll just make it easy. Go Mostert and Madison too. All right. And then Julio with a question. Is it time to bench Fields if you have Goff, Dak, and every tier 3 QB is available? Maybe Stroud?
I would probably start Dak and Goff over him this week. Dak against the Cardinals, how do you not like that? I mean, the only worry for Dak would be like they're just blowing him out like in week 1 against the Giants. But look, this Cardinals defense has put up fights. The offense has put up fights. They're keeping the games close. They're not getting blown out. I would probably go Dak over Fields or Goff, either of those guys over Fields. Again, I'm going to say the same thing I said earlier. Don't drop Fields to pick up one of these guys. But if you want to bench Fields, grab one of these guys and start them this week, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think you can go either Goff or Dak and play it safe this week. I think you got to put Dak over Goff.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, and then he's got another one. Waiver priority. Put these guys in order. Kyren, Ford, or Nico?
Well, I still think Ford is number 1. Just because how often are you going to find a potential RB1, on the waiver wire? Although I guess you could maybe look at Kyren as an RB1 right now too. So I guess I go Ford, Kyren, Nico, unless you're like, I have no wide receivers. Unless you're like, I have great running backs and no wide receivers. Okay, then maybe I would go Nico first, but probably Ford, Kyren, Nico.
Yeah, the running backs have to be first. So I think I said Kyren before Ford. It's really close. So whoever you feel better about, Kyren, Ford, Nico, Ford, Kyren, Nico. Get one of those guys, you'll be happy. Bez 787 trying to trade with the Chubb owner. He has AJ Brown and Olave. I can offer Monty, Addison, Mostert, Henry, Javonte, Higgins, Cup, and you're also picking up Ford on waivers. That's a good idea. The Chubb owner is probably trying to pick up Ford. If you can get him, that would be smart. So he's trying to. I don't think fleece is the proper word. You're trying to take advantage of a desperate owner who has good receivers and offer him. I mean, I don't know why he would be taking Monty right now, but sure. Mostert, I think, is a probably good sell high right now.
Mostert definitely a good sell high, but I don't think he's going to give up AJ Brown or Olave for him.
Good package. I don't know what it depends how desperate he is, but I don't know. Don't trade Higgins.
No. I was thinking either maybe if you could package Mostert and Addison to get one of those guys, because even though I like Addison, I mean like Olave and AJ Brown are on a different level.
Oh yeah.
Or even if you could just trade Derrick Henry, maybe straight up for one of those guys. I think that's fair. I think Derrick Henry for one of those guys straight up is fair. If you feel bad fleecing him, but you probably don't want to get rid of Derrick Henry because then you're going to kind of be in the spot he's in now where you have no running backs. So maybe try to see if you can do like Mostert and Addison for one of those receivers. That's fairish.
Look, he lost Chubb and you're getting Ford. At least you think you're getting Ford. If that's for sure, I mean, say, hey, I got his backup. I got Jerome Ford, and I'll throw in Addison, give you one of those guys, and do it. I wouldn't trade Henry, because then you're going to be, kind of lacking there at running back. You want to try to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
The situation, not the player. So I would keep Henry and Higgins. You probably don't have to get rid of Cup to get one of these guys because he's looking for a running back. So I'm trying to trade Mostert. I could dangle Ford out there and see if that works to get one of these receivers. And if not, you can try to package with Addison. There you go. And then Marcos, going to have to go back. He says, back to earlier. I don't know if you remember this. He said, my RBs are Bijan, Mostert, Pierce, and Gus. Going to have to look. Give us a minute, Marcos. We'll go see if we can find yours.
I'll go look for it.
And then he also asked the question, is Pickens a must-start moving forward? It depends. Depends on your lineup, but he's a strong start.
He's a very strong start this week because the Steelers get the Raiders.
Yeah. So, this week he's a must start. Every week it's hard to say, but he's definitely going to be always a strong start.
All right, here it was. Rate my running back. Oh, so he also has he said rate my running backs, but he only showed us the 3 bad ones.
BR. I see BR. You put it real tiny there. Oh, by the way, I have Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good that you have Bijan. So obviously you have a true RB1.
It's a little better. I mean, I still don't really like your depth behind Bijan, but at least you got Bijan, so that's good.
Verdun 14-man PPR got Tua and Tyreek. Very nice. Watson, Pickens, Ramondre, Gibbs, Reynolds, Ertz, Drake London, Hill, and Ford. Who to trade or hold steady? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. I mean, look, I would say this is a great time to trade Ford, even though I like Ford. But you either drafted him very late or you grabbed him off waivers before this week. But you only have Stevenson, Gibbs, and Justice Hill. So you probably are going to need Ford. You got great wide receivers. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Christian Watson, George Pickens. I mean, your wide receiver, like on any given week, your wide receivers can like outscore your opponent.
Demolish.
Right? Like these guys can get you like 100 points, just the three of them. Get you 100 points. So I don't really see like anything here I think you can do. I mean, Reynolds, no one's trading for Reynolds right now. No one's trading for Drake London. No one's trading for Justice Hill. I think you just hold steady. This for a 14-team league, this is very good. And look, having Jerome Ford now in a 14-team league to add to your running back room, I mean, this team is going to be great in a 14-teamer. It'll be great.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't mess with this at all. And yeah, the one guy who maybe you could say it's a good time to capitalize this high would be Ford, but you don't want to lose that depth because you might need him. So it's too valuable, in other words. I mean, I don't know anybody cares for Justice Hill. That's the only guy I don't really think you need, but yeah, I think you're fine. Hold steady. And yeah, we appreciate it. All right, what about Hams? Godwin, London, Collins, or Gabe? Pick one.
I think this week I'm going Nico. I don't love London's matchup this week, although CJ Gardner-Johnson being out might help. Godwin just feels like a floor play again, like another year of Godwin just being a floor play. Gabe always has the upside, but this isn't like I mean maybe it is a good spot for Gabe because Washington did give up 2 huge plays to Marvin Mims. But my guess is Washington is going to be more focused on Gabe than they were on Marvin Mims. I mean, when you got Judy and Sutton out there, I'm guessing that's who the defense probably was more focused on, not rookie Marvin Mims. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to talk myself off Gabe. But I think Collins is in another good spot this week. It's hard for me to bench Collins. I'm going with him.
Yeah, until Baker Mayfield starts looking away from Mike Evans and other players, I don't think you can feel great about Godwin. Look, you had a great call on Gabe. You were feeling this is a potentially big game for him. He had a big game. So what does that mean? He's going back to other Gabe, right?
Yeah, probably.
So,
I mean,
maybe. Collins is the guy. I think Collins is still the pick here. George again. Trade CD or Ridley for Chase, or neither.
I'm still taking Chase. Are we look?
But which one?
Well, I prefer to trade Ridley, not CD, because I was higher on CD, and nothing that I've seen so far makes me think I was wrong about CD. Like, he looks fantastic. Even last week against the Jets, where it's like, ooh, tough matchup, he just destroyed them, destroyed the Jets. So I'd prefer Ridley, but look, it's been 2 weeks. I'm not giving up on the guy who was a consensus number 2 or number 3 pick in fantasy this year after 2 weeks. And especially when his quarterback is not 100% right now. I still believe this offense is going to come around, and it might even be this week. I'll take Chase for either of these guys, but I will definitely take Chase for Ridley.
Yeah, I don't think this really feels that risky to get Jamar Chase. I mean,
No.
Nothing wrong with him. Burrow, oh, my calf's bothering me. He'll be fine. Trade Ridley for Chase. We've already seen it. Ridley and this Jaguars offense isn't going to go off every single week, just like the Bengals offense isn't going to go off every single week. You know, they're both going to be volatile. So, yeah, trade Ridley for Chase. I think you're fine. Rashi Brown, full PPR. Zay, Nico, or Zach Moss?
I think it's Zay by a little bit. Not Zach Moss.
It's definitely not Moss.
I like Nico this week. We talked about it. This Colts defense, cover 3, wide receiver 1's just feast against this defense. I'm going with Zay this week. Just like I like Nico a lot, but I think I like Zay just a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. It's easily Zay Flowers for me. It's easily not Zach Moss. I was all in on him last week, but not this week. But you're going to go with one of those receivers anyways. Okay, I don't know if this is true. I hope it is. Look at NMB. We know NMB. He said that he happened to pick up Jerome Ford 5 minutes before the game last night because he didn't have a starting running back.
I mean, look, I think I mentioned this last year, but one thing I like to do in leagues where they allow you to drop bench players who have already played, if you're going into that Monday night game and you have somebody on your bench that you're going to drop anyways that week, drop them and pick up a handcuff running back in that Monday night game. Because you never know. Because worst case, if the run, look, we don't ever want to see somebody get hurt. But we know it's also a part of the game. It just is. The players know this, the fans, everybody knows this. But if something does happen to that running back in that game, you grabbed him. And if nothing happens to him, you were going to drop that guy anyway. So you just drop him. So if you're in a league that allows you to drop bench players after they've played, I think it's a great strategy. If you have somebody that you're planning to drop anyways, drop them before even before the Sunday night games if you can. Pick up the handcuff. If the running back stays healthy, you can drop that handcuff when you make your waiver claims on Tuesday.
And it always is a good idea if you have a player on your bench that you really don't need, like a Paris Campbell. Like, oh, I thought maybe, okay, no. A backup tight end, but you have Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce. It doesn't even matter who it is. Just drop them. You don't need them, right? Why?
Yep.
Backup quarterback, even though you have Jalen Hurts. Drop those guys and pick up a running back who does have a path, right? Because you never know. Nobody was on Jerome Ford before the season started. Well, almost nobody, but you know what I mean.
I think we have a thumbnail with Jerome Ford even on it.
I think we do. All right, let's go to Shaboy Poppy. Okay. Trade Puka James Cook for Walker and Ridley. Oh,
you have to. This is what I'm talking about selling high. You're getting an upgrade at running back and at wide receiver. You have to do this. You have to do this.
Is I can easily part with Puka.
Yeah.
Do that. All right. What about AB? What's up? Just traded Mostert and Nico for Madison and Shaheed. I'm not crazy.
I don't like this.
I mean, selling high on Mostert, but getting Madison back isn't high. And I think I honestly prefer both Mostert and Nico for Madison and Shaheed.
I think so too, and I don't even like Madison that much. So, you Mostert and Nico. I might prefer Madison actually, just because I'm really worried about Mostert when Jeff Wilson comes back and Shane starts working in that we're going to see more of a three-headed. But I mean, I'm not that high. I'm not super high on Madison, but yeah, I definitely prefer Nico over Shaheed. So yeah, wish you would have come on the stream and asked us about this one first.
Gonna agree. Look, I mean, it wasn't not completely lopsided or anything. Maybe Madison has a big game. I hope he does, but yeah, he's looked pretty rough so far. So yeah, I think the best player in this deal is Nico. This guy I'd rather have. So don't love it. Right about Pablo Ford or Madison.
I'm going Matt. Look, Ford is going to be great. He's going to be fantastic. Don't panic on him. But I'm going Madison this week because that matchup is just against the Chargers, and he catches passes. He'll have a chance to score. Look, I hope Ford does something this week, and I don't think Ford's completely unstartable. Like if you don't have better options, he's going to get the volume. But man, this Titans run, it's literally like, I'm trying to think, like, it's just a great run defense. They're just a complete shutdown run defense. They just are. It's just the way it is. I mean, it's unfortunate that you dropped all your FAAB, I guess you didn't because you already have Ford, but it's unfortunate for the people who are going to drop all their FAAB that week 1 he gets Tennessee. But it's okay because it's only week 3. There's lots more weeks ahead. It's okay. Madison in a way better matchup. He'll get enough run, I think, this week. I'm going Madison.
This week, it's okay not to start Jerome Ford. You can go Madison. Look, the rest of the year, maybe you just keep Ford in there. But I
Yes.
agree. You have to trust the matchup. Go with Madison. And then, sorry if we missed this, or I guess you missed it. I know we answered Tyler's question, but
Yeah.
Goff or Love this week.
Definitely Goff. Better matchup. Yeah. At home. Give me Goff.
Yeah, we're going Goff for sure. Feel pretty good about Goff. This might be the first kind of down week for Love. Not terrible, but yeah. All right, guys, we'll do a few more minutes. We're hitting almost the 3-hour mark. So if you have any last questions, get it in there. We'll try to do some quick regular chats, but we're still catching up on the super chats. We're almost there. And then also thank you, Rough Times,
Thank
the
you.
YouTube member. We appreciate you. Tegan Powell, who to trade for? Evans. Oh, who to trade for? I guess for a running back. Who to trade away? Evans, London, Nacua, or Flowers?
Well, you know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Nacua, not just because I worry about his long-term value, but because he has the most value. He's the one that you're gonna get. Like if you go to somebody and say, "Hey, give me your running back, and I'll give you Drake London," they're gonna be like, "Eh." You say that with Flowers, they might be like, okay, maybe I'll give you like one of my decent running backs. Same with like Evans. You say that with Puka, they're gonna be like, which running back do you want? Who do you want? CMC? I'll give you CMC and Bijan. You know what I mean? Like, it's Puka mania right now. It's Puka mania. Take advantage of it while you can. Take advantage of it. So, and look, I'm not knocking Puka. I liked Puka. We liked Puka. I was trying to get him in Dynasty if I could. Drafted him in my rookie drafts. It's not like I'm anti Puka, but he has so much value right now. Just ridiculous value. He's a fantastic sell high. So Puka is the one I'm trying to trade because I know I can get probably a really good running back for him.
And then second choice would probably be Evans because he's had two
Evans
really
would be
good
second.
weeks.
Yeah.
London doesn't have as much value as he should. I'm not trading Flowers right now. So yeah, agree. See what you can get for Puka. Start a bidding war.
Exactly. Put him on the trade block. Let the Sharks come get him.
No, really. You never know. You never know. And then say, hey, I got this offer. What can you do better? Let's go to Zach Dabney.
Ooh.
Unfortunate Chubb Dobbins owner. Yeah, we're there. 2 QB league. Got Herbert Love Fields. Well, that's good at least. Moss, Gus / Hill. It's like they're not even a one running back. They count as like one combined. Madison, and then you got Olave, DK, Addison has been offered.
I think
Brian Robinson Jr. and Devontae Smith for Herbert in a 2 QB league, though. Is that enough?
Wait, that's Brian. I was thinking Bijan at first, but that's Brian Robinson, right?
It can't be. If it's Bijan Robinson, we don't need to talk about it. But I don't think Bijan's a junior, is he?
But now here's the thing. You said 2 QB, not super flex. That's a big difference.
Yes.
Because 2 QB means you have to start 2 QBs. So if something happens to, like if you trade Herbert, I mean, you did say CJ Stroud. Did say Ritter and CJ Stroud are available.
I just saw that. CJ Stroud is available. So between Fields, Love, and Stroud, you can get by with that.
I think
But is it worth it for Devontae Smith?
Even Ritter in a pinch. I mean, he ran for a touchdown last week. He threw a touchdown. If you're like, I don't have a second QB, Ritter at least will get you points. He'll get you something. He'll get you more than a 0.
I mean, you need the upgrade at running back more than receiver, but you're getting a stud receiver. And look, Brian Robinson's an upgrade over everybody in the running back room there right now. So this is close, though. This is close.
This is close. I would hate to give up Herbert in a 2 QB, though, but I mean, maybe only because if you feel confident, like how confident do you feel that you can get Stroud this week? Because people are starting to come around on Stroud now because he's had 2 nice games in a row. And it is a 2 QB league, so like I maybe do this. Maybe let the guy know who offered the trade say, hey, look, I'm gonna try to pick up CJ Stroud. Like if you don't think he has any interest in Stroud. So I'm gonna try to pick up Stroud. If I get Stroud, I'll make the trade because I'll feel comfortable with my QBs. But if not, I need Herbert because like if you don't get Stroud off the wire, like if somebody else gets him and you only have Love and Fields as your QBs and Ritter, Like Love Fields and QB as your QBs and a 2 QB, that is not good enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you can do this because you need the help at running back, and I'm a believer in Brian Robinson. That's the thing. So I shouldn't have doubted him last week. So I think this is fair. I think it's fair. You can do this and just try to get Stroud for sure if you can. All right, then we got Bishal Tamang. Would you trade DK for Swift?
If you need a running back, sure. I'm not completely like it should be Swift's job after last week, but we still haven't seen this backfield. Well, we did see this backfield once with a healthy Swift and Kenneth Gainwell, and it was Gainwell's job. Now, of course, Swift looked great last week. We don't know if Gainwell will be back this week or not. But it's much harder to find a running back like Swift than a wide receiver like DK. Like I shouldn't say fine, but it's much harder to get a running back like Swift than a wide receiver like DK. So I'll take the Swift side here.
Yeah, I mean, you can do this as long as you're good at receiver. Obviously you're doing this because you need a running back. So if you're like the Chubb or Dobbins or Barkley or any other running back that's hurt owner and you need a running back and you're going to start DeAndre Swift, then yeah, I think this is fair. I think this is fine. Rough times it is. Warren for Ford and Hill, like Justice Hill.
I did random player lotto, got Ford in my 12 team and Warren 2 times in my 10 team. What is random player lotto?
I'm not sure. Is this some sort of a waiver wire thing? Like,
I don't know, but man, you lost Eckler, Chubb, Barkley, and Aaron Jones. That is.
It sounds like it's almost like a dispersal thing for waivers. Like it's not a priority or a FAAB. It's just like random, which would suck. But I don't know.
That would suck for everybody except for the guy who got Ford, which was him. So that's great.
I don't know. I mean, you're hurting a running back. You got some good pickups, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, I don't really understand this. I'm sorry.
All right, Sam Hinn, thank you. So he's just traded Monty, Mike Evans, and Aaron Jones for Jamar Chase and Breece Hall. You like that?
Probably. I mean, it's going to come down to Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Like Monty Evans, Aaron Jones feels like a bit too much for Chase. If Breece Hall can get close to back and at least be like a good RB2 every week, then I think I like your side if he can get there. It's going to come down to Breece Hall. This is going to be one we're going to probably have to wait and see.
Yeah, I would have preferred a different running back than Breece Hall, who's in that same tier. So we'll see. Look, if Breece comes through and he's at least startable, which looking at your running back depth, I know you had Chubb and Pollard's your guy, and then it's just a bunch of guys. If Breece Hall is startable, then I think you come out fine. Oh, look, Monty's missing games anyways. Aaron Jones should be back, but you made a move, right? You made a move to try to upgrade. Jamar Chase will definitely help you.
Yeah.
Just getting Chase in the should be fine. All right, last couple. Again, last chance. Get in those super chats if you definitely want your question answered tonight. We will be back live again tomorrow, of course. What about Carl here? Told him to upgrade his running backs. Looks like he did. He got Kyren. He got Swift. He got Rashawn. Shane. Decent. It's decent.
It's decent. I mean, look, if Swift takes over this, if Swift really is the guy in this backfield, it's going to be more than decent. It's going to be really good.
Yeah. You can drop a Shane, but yeah, I think Kyren is definitely startable. Swift, we'll see. I'm not going to go too far with him just yet, but yeah, you definitely have startable running backs at least.
Yep.
Decent, definitely. All right, Big Luscious has been asking this, and he's always with us. Mark Andrews and Ford to the Chubb owner who's giving me Stephon Diggs and Pittman.
Assuming you can start Diggs and Pittman every week and there are decent tight ends on the waiver wire that you can go stream, yes. I mean, come on, you're getting a top 5 wide receiver, and I think Pittman this year will be like a wide receiver 2 type most weeks. Yeah, I think you definitely do this.
Yes, you can definitely do that. That's a win for you. Even if Ford is solid.
Yeah, that's turning like, that's called selling high on Jerome Ford right there.
Just pick the guy up. He just got his job, and now you're selling him for a stud receiver. That's pretty good. And we'll leave the last word to Julio, who became a member. Thank you, everybody who did join as members. And the best educational channel on YouTube. We'll take that.
Take that. Wow. There's a lot of good educational channels out there. Impressive. Take it.
I never considered us educational, but I guess we sort of are. All right, actually, sorry, rough times clarifying. Let's make sure we understand this. He said, I picked them up, like you said, for someone I was dropping.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So like he just picked some guys with upside. Okay. My team with Chubb has 5th waiver. Okay.
I guess Rashawn would be my number 1 choice.
Yeah.
Justice Hill would probably be number 2. Tony Jones last, because I mean, look, Jamal Williams doesn't have a season ender, and Kamara is coming back next week. So Rashawn, Hill, Jones would be my order.
Yeah, I still like Rashawn. The Bears offense has potential. Has potential. We'll put it that way. All right. And then always under the gun here, Ryan Torres. Oops, that's not him. Chris. All right,
just for me.
T-Law or Fields?
I'll go T-Law this week. He's in a good matchup. I just feel a little bit safer about him. I'll go ahead and bench Fields for T-Law, and if Fields goes off on my bench, great. He's back in my lineup next week. But I think T-Law will be fine this week.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. And
are you playing Ryan in one of our leagues? Is that why he asked me?
Maybe, I don't know. He already asked. He said, "Oh, okay, good night." Yeah, it's the same thing. All right. Well, there you go. Thanks, guys, for joining us as always. And let's do it again tomorrow. How about that? Because your waivers may have run or not, but now it's time to make some trades. So you're going to see the trade videos coming up, and you're going to you both. Okay. Check out those videos. Don't forget, by the way, this is a good time not to forget to sign up for Underdog if you haven't already. Use code Endgame. All that information is always in the link below. Don't forget, because they're giving away money. Again, they'd like to do that. 100K Sunday. So just use the Tyreek Hill pick. You don't have to like him or the Dolphins or even decide which one you want to go with. Just use it, and you get a chance to win $10,000. That sounds like a good deal. Combine it for a chance to win more money. But if you do use our promo code, then that gets you that deposit match up to $100. So check it out if you haven't already. Also on our videos, you'll notice our start sit in our booms. We drop our favorite picks, the ones that we think that you should go for, and we explain why. So that's another reason too. And just under the gun, we got one more. Marcus WJ. Would you trade Nico, Zay Flowers, and Kittle for Kelsey?
This feels like an overpay for Kelsey, especially if you have Kittle. I know Kittle hasn't come through so far, but I think Kittle will be fine. Yeah, this feels like too much for Kelsey for me. Too much.
Yeah, it does feel like an overpay. I mean, sure, it's an upgrade at tight end, but both those guys are definitely going to be startable every week now. That's the thing. Before the season, you might think, well, whatever, I'll do that. Nico and Zay, no. Now we know they're legit. You don't want to necessarily trade those guys. So this feels like too much. You should at least get a receiver or something back in exchange. All right, Milo Lack, because you're always here for like the entire 3 hours. Have CMC traded Monty in London for Swift and Elijah Mitchell, who supposedly is going to get some touches this week. Yeah, right. What do you think, though?
I think it's probably close. I mean, I like that you got Elijah Mitchell for CMC. It's going to come down to Swift. If Swift actually is the guy in this backfield, then this will probably end up being a win for you. But if Gainwell's involved and Swift gets the Swift treatment, then maybe the Monty and London side will be the winner here. But it seems like a risk worth taking.
I mean, right now, you got to like Swift over Monty because Monty's hurt, of course, and Swift just looks like a stud. I think it's fine. I think you're fine doing this. Running back depth is always a good thing to have. So you got the insurance. That's fine. And Ryan, I'll go with Chris. I'm going to say T-Law this week.
What's that?
He did ask me to. He's like, well, he wanted my thoughts. So,
Oh, okay.
All right. That's it, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate you.